travel to a faraway jungle to find the source, each having their own reasons. Welcome to the Tomb of Annihilation. Testing. Oh, yeah, I'm in. I'm in! Stream mode, enable, disable. Okay.
Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
Don't ask. They gave me some kind of medication. I think I told you about it before, and it's knocked me completely out again.
Oh, dude, so you're high tonight?
Well, not like that. No, no.
Oh, darn.
The last 24 hours, vomiting my brains out, and now I'm waiting for my stomach to start work again. That usually takes 24 to 48 hours.
Wow.
A severe constipation, yeah, after that. So it's like, yay, yay me, yay. If it wasn't because I had a doctor's appointment tomorrow, I would have lost my fucking shit. But yeah.
That's not good. Sorry to hear that, man.
Nah, it's just, for fuck's sake, man. It just... And I was still like, oh, it doesn't matter, it's not D&D tonight, and then I was 1 week back. It's just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh dear. Well, you know what? At least you get to kill some shit. Take your mind off
Yeah, or
this.
get killed and be like, oh, thank you, Dusted, for having a moment with me.
All the happy memories. Yeah. Oh, you've disappeared.
Sorry, what?
Oh, you're back. What are you typing?
Oh, it's just because I have push to talk on. I think that it just starts typing into the chat.
Ah, I get you.
Hey, Ray.
Ray!
Hi, do I sound like a robot?
No, not today.
Not
Alright.
today, Schwarzenegger.
Oh my god, thank you.
Have you been alright?
Yes, been a crazy week, actually.
Oh.
I need my D&D.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we've got some good stuff in store for you guys tonight. In fact, I've been preparing, I think I've prepared at least 3 sessions now in advance again.
Yeah, watch.
You're
We're using
crazy.
the whole session just spending it at the shop. Like,
You say that, Stefan, but now we decide to go to Mesro instead, and none of it matters.
Don't worry, I've got that all prepared already as well, just in case, because you could have gone there last time.
You're crazy, man.
So I've got 10 pages written out of everything that I'm going to be reading out to you already prepared.
watch it. We'll make him make a Matt Mercer where he just tears up everything and throws it over his shoulder.
Fact told, we're going to Baldur's Gate now. How about that?
That's no problem. I think I've got a Baldur's Gate module somewhere.
What was it? I think we've talked about it. Scanlan with the love potion. Where was oh god, I think I sent that as a link as well.
Oh yeah, I'm in episode 17 now of campaign 1.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's just strange. I finished campaign 2 and this is an entirely different thing.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Alright,
Giannis and Rachel.
Yes.
Now we're just missing Axel.
Which, yeah,
I haven't seen Axel on at all, actually.
Ew.
Usually he's here before us as well.
He is normally early, isn't he?
Yeah.
yeah. Actually, Anders, you appear to me as offline as well.
Yeah, I do that a lot recently because I'm one of those idiots that cannot just remove people from Discord and keep them on anyway, and then when I don't want to talk to them, I just go offline. I'm a
Oh,
person like that.
okay, okay. I understand.
Oh, I see. So we're in that group, are we?
Yeah. Oh, it's I cannot deal with people right now. Time. Yeah, easily.
Hmm.
now, Axel is online.
Yep, I've seen him. He's moved in.
Yay.
We're just waiting for the priest to make his start. Let's see.
He's right
Also,
here.
Rachel, I didn't get a message from you of how we're gonna stop the guys checking out the tree.
I'm sorry, I completely forgot.
Oh,
It's been a bit of a crazy week. Forgot. So I think I got really caught up in, I don't know, other things.
well, Elden Ring.
And I haven't even managed to play Elden Ring. We bought Destiny the Witch Queen and we've played it once, and then Giannis's computer died while playing it, so now we've ordered him a new motherboard, which comes tomorrow.
I've put 50 hours into Elden Ring.
Oh wow, that's way more than us. I haven't even done the first boss yet.
I envy you. I want to, but I can't.
No. Oh. It's alright.
I mean, if I wanted a game that was actively trying to kill me, I would just play D&D with Stefan.
I've platinumed all the other From Software games.
Exactly.
Even one of the Armored Core games, the one that came to PlayStation 3, I got that one as well. But this one, I think Bloodborne I sunk in about 3,000 hours.
Hey,
Oh
Axel.
my god.
Good to see you.
Sorry, my computer was acting up a bit.
Oh, hey, that's well. I was also about to say that's good to hear, but we were kind of worried for you for a moment.
We were, yeah. We thought maybe that you didn't make it.
No, it's fine. I tried to write in the chat. Did it not work for my phone?
Oh, sure.
I wrote 2 minutes.
Yeah, no, we got that.
Good.
Yeah.
I got a bit confused what my computer was up to, but it seems to be working now. I'm just gonna log in on the.
Make sure you are updated to the
They've
correct...
updated again.
They have, yeah, new features.
Yesterday, I think.
Yeah. At least the update went out yesterday and not tonight, like the last 2 times we played. Yeah.
What do we have as new?
The extension above VTT.
Yeah. But I mean, what is new?
Oh, let me see.
Oh,
if
yeah,
can find
I have
the
it.
log. I don't know because I haven't seen it. Oh, I'd have to go. Hold on. Onto the Discord. Let's go. So, feature enhancements allow drawing and selection outside of the game map. Automatic delete rating cookies. Reduce the number of VTT backing encounters. Update to CSS for DMs. Players can now delete area of affected tokens.
Thank you. Finally. Let's try that.
Yeah.
That's all that mattered. That's all that mattered.
The central zoom button is now a fit map to view button. Initial support for hosting images on Dropbox. And then they fixed a couple of bugs. Call of the Netherdeep importing chapters. Fix for the center default. They fixed homebrew monster images. Now I can send those to the game log. That's good. Dialogue positioning and screen jumping for journal and notes. We don't really use those. Fixed the combat tracking interacting badly with menus. Fixed monster stat blocks that were sometimes blank. Updated how dead X is handled on tokens. That must be when they get to 0 hit points and the big X appears on the monster. And then they temporarily disabled Monster Row drag and drop until that bug can properly be fixed. Yeah.
I like how this is getting slowly better and better as we play.
Firefox was fixed on the 16th, so last week as well. So you guys on Firefox should have up to date, or at least up to 0.71.8.
Decided to use Chrome today. It's just easier.
Oh, well, I think we're quite lucky then, aren't we? Excellent. I'm having some music issues sometimes on this side.
But isn't that only when people log into the game browser that it stops?
Yes, that still happens to me.
Thank you for reminding me. I should actually. That's a bug, isn't it?
I'd say it is. At least report that, yeah.
Bug report. Let me go in now and see.
Let's try our luck for the day.
I rolled a 100 in a D100.
Nice. So you roll at 100%.
Yep.
I only get like 75%.
Okay.
Does somebody know that if you have custom dice, do they appear in the BTT?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just see the custom.
Mine do.
All right.
You can see that Lunan has a red die. I think I have a black one, so it shows at least the color as well.
Oh, right, all right. Nice to know.
Yeah, I've got red as well. Okay. Right, so guys, are we all ready?
Yes.
I've only got one yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Rachel? Hannes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Axel?
As ready will be.
Wicked. Anders?
Yeah. Again.
Awesome. Again, that's it. I just feel like saying everybody's name. Okay. Right, guys, welcome back to session 18. Wow. A quick recap on our last session then. When we picked up just after Fortune's Favour arrived at Kir Sabal and stopped at a tree to watch Valrus place his hand inside the tree. As the seconds passed, you notice he quickly began to grow exhausted, sweat pouring from his brow as his legs going weak and he struggled to maintain his connection with the tree. Just as you were about to interrupt him, he collapsed, nearly exhausted to the point of dying and babbling about visions and similar trees in other locations. Nefer helped him to your lodgings for the night. A stone dwelling set into the cliff face as the rest of you took turns caring for him, reading books in the small library or having a quick scout about the small village itself before preparing to meet the teacher for a meal. On your wanderings, you found the cleansing chamber, more suited to cleaning the feathers of the residents of Kir Sabal than the skin of, say, a tabaxi or a humanoid. But you all showed the proper decorum. You then discovered the barracks, a dining hall and a kitchen for the inhabitants of Kir Sabal, and sort of a tavern as well of sorts. And you came across another small dwelling with a family staying in there. Eventually the time came for your meeting with the teacher. You were led to the monastery and had a short meal. You explained you were looking for the royal blood. The teacher explained the importance of the last heir to the throne, and that the teacher cannot yet trust you to meet with the heir. As proof of trust, She asked you to clear the blight from the area just east of Kir Sabal. The conversation moved into the monastery proper, where a great big maze of Ubtao, the god of Chult, was laid out on the ground, with the teacher tracing a path through it while she talked. Many Aarakocra were also present, and applauded when you agreed to this trivial task to not only show your support for the Aarakocra and prove your trust, but more importantly, to show that you're committed to the cleansing of the evil in Chult. Before you departed, the teacher asked one small favor. Should you come across the fortification of Ras Nazi, that you search it and share any information that would help to lead to his demise. As you left that evening, you inquired about any places you could purchase equipment, and Nefer explained that on the first tier of the walkways reside a blacksmith and a merchant, where you can prepare for your journey. And this is where we pick up. You've just left the monastery and headed down past the cleansing chamber. Valrus, you are still on 4 levels of exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be 3 now since we rested?
You...
It was only a short rest.
Yeah,
okay.
It was only a short rest, not a full rest. It's still in the evening. You haven't quite had a full 8 hours yet. So, oh, I see I've actually done the whole uncovered blacksmith and merchant for you as well. How kind. Okay. Who wants to go first?
I would like to kindly ask Nafra, excuse me, this person your master talked about is Rasnasi or Rasnasi. Who is he?
Well, you know, Ras Nazi was one of the Baray. When the god Uptao left Chult, some say that he was disgusted with the greed from the residents of Mesro, and he left the city to its own devices, leaving in his stead 8 of his holy paladins to take care of the city while he was gone. These 8 holy paladins then set out to try and maintain order while he was away, and Ras Nazi was one of these holy paladins. Legend has it that Ras Nazi then found some sort of necromantic power and tried to go back and retake Mesro, and was defeated and kicked out of Mesro. And he cannot enter the city at all, for all of the priests prior to this had already placed up some sort of a holy barrier. And failing that, Ras Nazi then went out and made a pact with the snake people. Whilst none of us have seen him, it is said that he converted half of his body into one of these races of snake people. I'm not too sure if you are aware of the UNT, but they've got a strong presence in the deep jungle.
Alright. That was quite a bit. Thank you, Nafra.
That's alrighty, no problem, man.
What does Luna know about the UNT?
Lunan?
Yeah. Does he know anything about them since before?
You could roll a history check, or you could ask Vargo to roll an intelligence check, or you could refer to Ponty's book. What sort of information are you looking for?
If I've ever... Just first off, if I've ever heard of them at all. So I guess history for myself.
Okay.
Yeah, probably. Maybe.
Yeah, you've heard legends and tales of Yuan-Ti. So there are serpent folk who are devoted to making themselves gods. They are quite not dominant, but there are quite a lot of them in areas like jungles, swamps, and even deserts, where they try and take over these places, worshipping evil gods. There are various rumors, legends about serpent kings of fallen empires, humans forsaking humanity to use magic to convert themselves into Yuan-Ti. With a 22, you know that there are 3 types of these Yuan-Ti. There are the Yuan-Ti abominations, which are serpent folk, full snakes with arms, monstrous serpents with humanoid torsos. The highest class of the Yuan-Ti society. Below them are the Yuan-Ti the Malazon, which are like burly humanoids with snake serpent-like heads. So these are the middle caste of the society, hunters that can use their own venom. And then you have got the purebloods, who are the lowest form of Yuan-Ti society, who closely resembled humans. Many of them try to pass for humans, but of course they still keep their snake eyes, forked tongue, and some of them still have scaly patches of skin or pointed teeth, but many of them masquerade as humans, infiltrating human population. Some of the gods that spring to mind are Dendar, the night serpent, Mershulk, who's the master of the pit, and Seth, the god of death. From Chult, this land is kind of foreign to you. Straight away, nothing springs to mind, but given that most of the land is a jungle, it stands to reason that there is likely quite a large serpent population somewhere in the jungle.
Okay. I think I will tell the people. I will tell them a little bit about this information that I know of. That there are 3 different kinds and what they were called. And say, I guess there will be a risk of having quite a few of them, so we better keep our eyes open and not trust any human either without when we're in their territory, without maybe checking if their eyes are human as well.
Well, Lunan, I take offense on that.
But again, you broke up.
He said he takes offense to that.
If they have human eyes, okay. At least not reptile eyes.
That is what you would be looking for if you wanted to check on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
We will have to keep our eyes open.
Keep your eyes open.
So, Nafra, you mentioned that this person, this Rasnansi, appeared somewhere when Uptao left or abandoned Chult, right?
Mm-hmm.
This has to be hundreds of years, even millennia ago, isn't it?
Well, we're talking about 500 years ago.
Oh wow! All right.
Yeah. Um, if memory serves me correctly, actually, it was about 200 years ago, to be exact. Uptau abandoned the Omuans. There was a great temple to Uptau in Omu, which was the grandest city in Chult, the origins of the jewelry trade. And as you can imagine, with all of the mines and the minerals and the trade passing through the city, the residents, yeah, they grew greedy, and Uptal did not take kindly to that and decided to leave them to their demise. With their god gone, many of the priests lost all of their magic. Disease then took hold in the city, and the population uprising took place. Decimated the city, and everything that was left fell into ruin. Um, Regardless of the Barre, who try to keep order, but even some of the spells from the paladins that they had dried up because their god had abandoned them. Some of them retained what they had, but for some reason, Raznazi, he just went out and managed to learn necromancy, raised an army of undead, and tried to retake Mesro. Blocked out,
All right. This guy
Um,
seems no small fry.
What would a snake have used for a ruined city? Oh well.
Raja?
Something related to Uftao, maybe?
I don't know.
It is possible. I mean, he didn't live that long ago.
500 years is not long ago.
No, it's not very long.
You guys are scary. For my kind, 100 years is more than enough.
For my kind, too. We'd be lucky to see 70 years.
Oh wow, I'm sorry, buddy.
I didn't realize you. I don't know. Also, short-lived, or maybe I'm just long-lived.
How old are you? I mean, if
Are you asking
I
a
mean, no
lady that?
offense.
You're asking me how old I am?
Yeah, honestly,
This ain't gonna
want to
end
know?
well.
I'll be at the
Well-
merchant if everyone needs me.
I'm not one to really. I'm at least over 200. But that is all you're getting.
Holy moly!
It is quite young, to be honest. I could be younger, but if I was younger, then I wouldn't be here. Probably.
200 is young.
It is. How old are you?
I'm about 150.
Oh. You're not that much younger than me.
No.
And the others are also.
They're-
I think they're a lot younger.
But they don't seem to contemplate life the same way.
That is very true. You're quite reckless. I suppose it shows with how you want to touch that tree all the time.
It's got nothing to do with age.
I think it does, you just don't realize it.
Maybe it's just something with gender. Moving on.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
So, what do you guys want to do? I mean, Barris, you seem honestly. So, I'm sorry for the pretty fuck up. Um, Nafra, what do you say? Do you think your um, chief will will mean will matter if we took a couple of days here, or did it seem more like she wants us to go now?
Well, the sooner you prove your loyalty, the easier it'll be. And yeah, it's no mean feat. The blight is busy creeping up on us down here, so it's about an inch a day. I do believe she said you're leaving in the morning, though.
Yeah. How long traveling is it to get there? A day or two?
No. It's a couple of hours, but with your tiefling friend over here, it might take us half a day. Poor little guy. Walking as slow as he is, swear he's about as old as me.
Hey, not all
Do,
of us have wings, all right?
Yeah, that's true.
do you think any of the priests here could give him some help him with his recovery?
I do believe you might be able to find something at the merchant. She's got like all kinds of cures inside there. Otherwise, I mean, you'll be able to sleep it off tonight, and most likely by another day or two on the road, should be good to go. I mean, you guys are like heroes. You saved me, y'all.
Fair enough.
All right. Barris, I will keep you company if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine by me. Might be best to still check the markets, though.
You're not checking anything.
No. Not at the moment, I suppose. I'll just head back.
Vargo, we were discussing earlier about making lantern. Is that something you're still interested in? In that case, we could try to acquire the components for it now.
Yes, I'm trying to work out that spell to take care of that problem. Don't want to be a bother for you guys, but it's not ready yet. So yeah, a lantern sounds fine. All right, so we head up then.
Yeah.
Do you think my adversary will be where these snake people are?
Mm.
Who are you talking to?
She's just musing to the group.
Entirely possible. Also possible he's been struck down in the jungle.
But it's my job to kill him.
Then we have to hurry.
We do. We can leave him here. We don't need this demon boy.
But Zurlena, please.
But he can sleep here for the next few days.
Oh, for the sake of let's go, Barris.
Alternatively, you could go on
Wait,
your
wait, wait,
search
wait,
for
wait,
the
wait, wait.
mercenary alone.
Before you
Well,
drag
then
off,
maybe I will.
Don't
Before
worry,
you-
little devil chap. I shall help you.
before you drag him off, Nefa, could you please take him to the lower area again where he can rest?
Yeah, no worries. And he slips his arms underneath yours and flaps his wings as he steps outside and flies you towards the dwelling. And as you're busy flying, he's like, you want to stop off at the merchant? Maybe we can find you something. I know there's some herbs that can help you sleep better. You might be able to rest up quicker.
Yes, I would, assuming the others aren't going.
Alrighty then. Let's hightail it down there. And he tucks his wings in, seeing as you're 100 feet directly above the merchant, and you just drop like stones from the sky. And as you plummet about 100 feet, he lets his wings spread out again. And the wind catches underneath his wings as suddenly you slow to a halt very quickly. Stomach into your throat, and then you settle down again. And he stands just outside the door of the merchant and plops you down there.
Oh, definitely not used to that. A bit of a warning next time, perhaps.
No worries, friend.
Alright. Go ahead and see if we can find anywhere to get some herbs, I guess.
Everybody else?
I'm on my way already. I just cannot remember if there was a skill check here with the arrow.
There are 2 jumps. One of which you've been over multiple times with handholds. So
Yeah, but not the arrow one, right? It's further down.
yeah.
If you look at where my yeah, okay, good. Just checking.
Yep, no, much further down. Only past the dwelling. So you're gonna head down.
Yeah, Lumen knows the secret path. I don't, so I'm just gonna try and jump.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yes, we are heading down to the merchant,
Yeah,
I suppose.
yeah, I'll let her go too.
Bargo will try to help by guiding people jumping.
Dustin, are you following Lunan, or are you just...
No, I think Dustin left about the time when people started talking about their age. I just couldn't remember if there was a skill jump there.
Okay.
So he's probably a little bit ahead, but not much.
Okay.
So if Lumen turns into the barracks, he won't see it.
So, right. Ponty will be following from the back. What about Vargo and Yelena?
I don't know.
Are you staying up?
Do we go together?
Yeah. They'll just head off.
Bargo will probably be talking to you about. You must be more careful about pirates. I mean, a man has his feelings, you know.
He's fine. He'll get over it. It is the least he deserves for touching such a unknown tree irresponsibly.
I mean, the urge to know is something I understand. It's not so bad. It can get you into trouble, but well, I guess you have a point. Is what I mean. But come on, it's pirates.
It could have killed him.
You know, that's right. You have some good points, Derlenda. I will think about that.
Of course I do. I'm older than you. I know more.
Oh boy. Alright. In which case, Dusted, if you're going to try and make the jump over here or climb across, you can give me a skill check with advantage, please. You only need an 8. +7, so...
I mean, it had to be double snake eyes for this to fuck.
True. Okay, so, yeah, noticing the handholds, you make your way across the gaps. In fact, both of them. Not a problem at all. Who wants to roll for Ponty?
It's your chance to kill him. Come on, guys.
Come on, Lena. Who takes responsibility for this?
I don't have to roll, so I'll roll for Ponty.
Don't kill Ponty. Oh,
He gets advantage. He gets advantage, don't forget.
Ah, right, okay. Here we go.
Get a 1.
Not quite. Better.
Alright. Alright, so, yeah, because he doesn't get any benefits from his skills as well. But with an 11, he manages to make it cross as well. Thankfully. Alright. Ponty parks up outside over here to wait. Dusted, you make through both of them as well. Lunan, are you going down to the blacksmith or the merchant?
I think I will try to join them. Yeah.
Okay. Then
It's
let's
acrobatics.
give me a skill check with advantage, please. Athletics or acrobatics, it's your choice.
Yes.
Ooh. Wow. Lucky you. 16, nice. Okay, plus 2, 18. Alright, so you make it down. Yarlena and Valrus?
I missed the stepping.
Vargo. Valvis is
Sorry,
holding it down.
Vargo. 2 V's, man.
Yeah, I'm both casters.
Exactly.
Yep.
Sure. Do you want to do yours?
Ooh, Yarlena's
I,
nervous.
I will guidance Jarlena and
Oh.
Misty Step myself.
Oh,
Wow.
sneaky. Of
Okay.
course, because Rachel, your character's lost Misty Step, has she? Or does she keep it that just changes?
I keep it. It changes, but I think I've used it because I haven't had a long rest yet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wait, we've had a short rest.
We,
Oh,
we
that's
have
fine.
we had a long rest, I think.
You've had a short. Everyone's had a short rest.
Oh,
But
so I do have
you
it.
only got here like 3 hours or 4 hours ago. You couldn't have had a long rest yet.
Yeah, sure. She will jump over it, I guess.
But our last encounter was in the bridge, and after that it took us a couple of days to arrive to Kir Sabal.
This is true.
So we have, we have not had a chance to use our abilities, I think, since then.
This is also true, yeah. So, I suppose it should be on your character sheet if you've marked it up as a rest.
Mm-hmm.
But she's made it now, so you can use it on the way back if you want.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Okay, so, where is everyone going? Or at least who's going to the merchant with after Valrus?
We can go as a group, I think, to the merchant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to replace that rope.
Okay. Okay, so Valrus obviously gets there first, and Valrus, even before you land on the boardwalk in front of the door, you're overwhelmed by the smells of various dried herbs, fruits, and sweet meat pies and baked breads. The door is wide open, and as you step in and look around, you can see that the room is filled with baskets of fresh fruits, shelves of bread and dried meats, sacks of grain and seeds, and a small bookshelf lines one wall. A chest is in the corner with a lid half open, and inside the chest you can see clothing and materials, hempen materials. This appears to be a general merchant's place of work. As you glance your eyes over the wares, an Aarakocra slowly makes its way down the ladder. Her plumage is dull grey and white, like that of a pigeon, and as she gets to the bottom, she turns and greets you, rubbing the hefty bulge of her belly. Hello, I am Eru. Welcome to my trading post. Is there anything I can help you with?
Yes. I'm looking for something that could help with exhaustion.
Oh, yes. You look exhausted. 1 second. and she reaches up to where you can see a bunch of herbs hanging from the ceiling in various bunches, dried flowers, dried weeds, and everything. She reaches up and she grabs the last of a bundle of something, and she pulls it down and places it in front of you. Is this what you were looking for? And in front of you, you recognize the dried manga leaves. There is enough for one large dose. I would say there's enough for about 6 ounces.
Yeah, that'll do just fine. And if possible, I would like to reach out and grab one of some fruit as well for the evening, I guess.
Okay. Do you mean steal sleight of hand? Or
No.
Okay, so you're just going to...
For purchase.
For purchase.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so you grab a couple of fruits, no worries. Anything else?
No, that is all.
Okay. Would you like me to prepare the leaves for you?
That would be convenient.
Is there any chance that you could teach me prepare those leaves as well? It might prove useful in the future.
At the moment, you're still busy making your way down. Valrus got here a good 10 minutes before you.
Oh, all right. Sorry.
Yeah, so, literally, she starts cooing, almost hooting a bit like an owl. And Valrus, you hear some movement coming from upstairs, and then you notice another Aarakocra who starts making his way down the stairs. And this Aarakocra is not the dull grey and white plumage, but his is more like a golden brown. On the edges of his feathers is more gold, moving through to a brown and then a dark brown where the plumage sits into his skin. And as he turns around, you can see he's got a small hooked beak that's golden, and his face is exactly that of an owl. He says to you as he looks at you and he goes, I am Iska. I will be understanding to prepare.
Nice to meet you. Yes.
And he inclines his head and nods. And then he takes the herbs and disappears back up the ladder.
I will wait patiently.
Okay. As you're busy waiting, Eru looks at you and she's like, 1 silver, please.
Take out my pouch of gold and toss her a silver.
And as you're tossing her silver, she rubs her big pregnant belly and snatches it out of the air and sticks it in between the V-neck of her halter neck top. And almost smiles at you in a way. You can see the little white mark on her beak starts to grow pink as she smiles. And as you're busy looking at her curiously, the rest of your party turn up and walk in. As you all make your way in, you can see Valrus staring, mystified at this immensely large pregnant pigeon in front of him. Not saying anything, just standing there. Looking around the room, you notice it looks like a general merchant's. There's fruit, there's dried meats, there's grain, there's a chest with a lot of like hempen clothing in it. There's a bookshelf, one of which is empty, the other one has only got a few little books on it. And you can hear some commotion from upstairs, like pots and pans or some sort of bubbling going on. And as you all walk in, the Aarakocra behind the counter looks up and, I am Eru. Welcome to my trading post. Is there anything I can help you with?
Well, our friend seems to be taken care of. So I thank you for that. Um, what kind of things do you sell in this establishment?
We are a general merchants. Please
I I,
have a look
I can
around.
see that.
What are you looking for?
Don't know, something interesting that you may offer.
She looks at you and cocks her head to one side and reaches underneath the counter and brings out a small wooden soldier. It is a small statue carved out of wood, made of an Aarakocra, holding a spear in flight as he seems to be diving down towards his prey.
How much?
Yeah.
1 silver.
I I give her two.
She takes it and bats her pigeon eyelids as she drops it down into the V-neck of her top. And then you can see the clink clink as it hits a pouch just resting on top of her pregnant belly.
Thank you
Anything
very much.
else?
I would like to buy some rope.
Rope. Yes, we have heard of
If
this.
you,
Not much cause for rope when one has wings. Please have a look at the chest over there. You might find some hempen rope.
start digging a bit.
Yep. I mean the chest has got a couple of bits of clothing in it. It's got like a top, and at the bottom there is indeed a roll of rope. It's about 50 feet long of rope. Looks quite sturdy and strong. Not used much at all. Good condition.
Perfect. I would like to purchase this. How much?
And she holds up 2 fingers. 2 gold.
That's
Thank
a bit steep, but sure.
thank
I
you
say
for your
I'm.
custom. Uh-huh. And she holds her hand out.
I,
As she rubs her pregnant belly and batting her eyelids at you.
I put some gold coins in her hand and give her a nod.
Thank you. This will go to feeding my family. And she drops the coins into the hidden pouch sitting above her belly. You hear a clink clink clink, ding ding ding, as they fall into the pouch.
Do you guys want something? Joanna, Dustin?
Do you have something that is for when you get hurt in battle? Like a healing potion?
In the general store, we do not. But perhaps next door, if you speak with Quiff. And you're a very disappointed coo coming out of her.
Do you not like him?
I would like the custom. I have not the skill to make healing potions.
Oh, let's see. Um,
Might
well,
I offer you some insect repellent?
I think that might actually be very helpful.
Well, I was definitely gonna shop for that once you guys had finished with that. So yeah, I will have some as well.
And she reaches under the counter and pulls out quite a large box, in fact. It looks like this is quite a popular item, because as she opens it, you can see that she opens the box and inside you can see that there are blocks of incense. There are small pots of like a salve or an ointment that you can rub on yourself to keep the bugs and everything away from biting you. and she pulls out the incense and she goes, 1 silver piece. But this will burn for 8 hours and fill a small dwelling. Or why not buy this beautiful salve? 1 gold piece for 10 applications of this grease, which lasts for 8 hours on your body. The
I
salve,
will.
it,
Oh,
it,
sorry.
I'll have 2 cells, please.
and you can see her feathers start to give a little shiver and a twitch as she starts to like fluff them out a bit, knowing she's going to make some money. She puts 2 cells down. 2 gold pieces, please.
Oh, and while I'm at it, I would like 5 bars of soap.
So
Or is that not a custom here?
we have a cleansing chamber. Soap. I may have some herbs for your scent. And she reaches up and she pulls down. As soon as you smell it, it's lavender. I can make a salve or a ointment with this.
That would be preferable, yes, please.
And she gives out an owl's hoot. And as you're busy waiting there, you hear some commotion from upstairs as you hear some climbing and moving about, hooting coming back, and then you see the clawed feet of another Aarakocra from the ladder coming upstairs. And this one, as he comes down, you can see his like golden brown plumage. As he turns around, he is an owl. And in his hand, he's holding a small vial of almost quite hot, brothy liquid. And he hands it to you, Valrus. Looks at Eru. She coos at him, and then he hoots back at her, and hands him the lavender. He fluffs his feathers a little bit and turns around and heads back upstairs.
How much for that? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
That will be 1 silver, please.
And Dusted hands over 21 silver because he owed her 2 gold and 1 silver, right?
Yeah. 21 silver. And she takes the coins and looks at them, peers down in her pouch and looks at the coins, and then just pours them into the box.
Click, 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 click.
Chilling, clink.
I
Anybody?
will also have two portions of the self.
2 cells. Okay. And she
I
pulls
will
out.
give her 20 silver.
As you pour the coins in her hand, she looks at them again and looks at the box running out of space. and all the coins fall back into the box, and she pulls out the last 2 cells and pops them down. Would anybody care for the last 2?
I will buy them. And I will also buy 5 of the incense.
Very good.
Would you mind sharing the salve?
I will share, don't worry.
I buy 1, you buy the other?
I will buy it, don't worry.
Okay.
So that would be 2 gold for the salve and 5 silver for...
Give her a bunch of copper.
You monster! You monster!
I do have 300 copper.
Oh my god!
We have 2,300 copper.
Need to
How
use
much
them
was it in
somewhere.
silver again?
5?
5 silver and 2 gold, so 25 silver altogether.
I will give her.
Well,
Wait.
250 copper.
I will give her 250 copper.
Yes.
As you're slowly counting out the 250 coppers, 1, 2, you can just hear a cooing more and more depressed with each coin that falls onto the counter. She looks at you and her eyes start to narrow as she starts looking and sussing you out. And
I'm sorry. You didn't give it this extra shinies.
she looks down at her big pregnant belly and we like gold. Oh well.
Oh, you like gold. Oh, I thought you liked. I don't know. I guess I thought anything shiny was nice. You know it's not real. Wait, is it real gold? I assume it's gold plated.
What is?
The gold coins.
It's actual gold.
They're actual
They're
gold.
at-
Yeah, gold
Oh.
coins are actual gold.
Oh, I thought they were like gold plated or something.
No, we're not in Baldur's Gate.
That will be sad.
Never mind, I won't say it then.
She reaches over and grabs the chest with all of the cotton and the hempen clothing and ropes in it, and she pulls it closer to her. And when you finish counting out all the copper, she just puts her arm slap on the counter and just pushes it all into the chest as a waterfall of copper rains into the chest. Closes the door and thank you. And as that happens, Iska, her husband, comes down the ladder with his lavender perfume, and he gently turns around and hands it to you, Dusted.
Busted takes it and takes a little sniff of it, and the thought of finding a river and bathing as soon as possible with this perfume is sort of like priority one.
Okay. And as you take it, Iska looks very proud, looks at his wife, Iru, and gives her a little nudge and a wink wink, and they both smile at you, and stand proudly as you appreciate your lavender perfume.
Are you perhaps interested in aquamarine stuff?
I am afraid you will need to explain.
I heard that you are interested in shiny things. We happen to have these gems. And whoever is carrying them, please show it to her.
Which gem are you talking about?
We have a handful of gems from the outpost.
Oh, the open inventory thing. Like I think you can actually just check what it is in the treasure vault.
Yeah.
It's in the back of the holding.
Yeah, it's in the bag.
Oh yeah, the full one. Yeah.
Yeah. So what, like the citron gems, the bloodstones, the onyx, and the very small. I think they were emeralds as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was greenish kind of gem, but that's probably emeralds. I have the big emerald, I think.
I think the greenish one was the agate.
Yeah, I have an emerald at least on my person. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're gonna whip out one or two gems. She looks at them and we are not really gem merchants. Perhaps you might hold on to them until you reach the city. You might get a better price.
All right.
I can give you 250 copper. She leans over and opens the lid of the chest where there's 250 copper pieces.
Oh,
That would not be necessary, but
the sass
thanks.
came back. The sass came back instantly. There you go.
All right, sorry. Lastly, I will take a glance at the books they have on display.
Okay. I mean, some of them are used. One or two of them are in good working order. One of them looks very similar to the book that Ponty has been carrying around. Roll either perception or investigation, whichever one is better.
There you go.
Yep. You catch the name on the binding and you recognize it as the one that Ponty is carrying, and it's called Volo's Guide to Monsters. The Monsters of Chult, Volume 1.
How much for that one? And I point at the book.
That will be 10 gold pieces. And she
I
pulls
give
it
her
out
15.
and she opens it and she says, "Signed by the author."
20 gold pieces.
And she closes the book. "Sold." And passes it over to you, as long as it is gold and not copper.
Do you not want any
2,000
more?
copper! 2,000 copper! You're not doing that to her.
I do have 100 more copper if you want it.
I
Yeah,
give
some
her
copper.
I give her 1 platinum, 10 gold.
Ooh. She grabs a platinum piece and sticks it into her secret pouch that she's secreting on top of her belly, and she hands the 10 gold to Iska, her husband. Ooh.
I want to compensate for the copper thing. Sorry for that.
Mistress Jalena, should we go look at this blacksmith next door?
I suppose so. Maybe he'll have a way of trapping and tracking down my adversary.
Yes. Yes, let's do that.
Thank you
Guys,
for your custom. And she waits for all of you to leave.
thank you, please. Aside the copy of... Guys, do you know Bolo? He's a... Oh my god.
Yeah,
Who
let's get.
is Volo?
He's a... I mean, he writes about stuff. He's famous.
He writes about things, and so he is famous.
Yes. A writer, or so they are called.
I didn't realize writing about things made you famous.
Are you having the conversation inside the merchants or outside?
As we leave, I assume.
Yes, on our way to the blacksmith, I suppose.
Okay.
Perhaps you should try and.
As you do, you busy talking to each other. You can see Ponty sort of like jumping up with his head like a little meerkat trying to have a look at what you've just purchased. Oh, you got a book. What is that? I do say.
It's Bolo's Guide to Monsters. Is yours signed, by any chance?
Oh god.
Let me have a look at that, old fella.
Sure. I show it to him. Look, it's signed here, and I think it's authentic. I think it's what to say.
He picks up the book and looks at it and durable hardback edition. Licks his finger and runs it down the spine and taps it a little bit and goes, "First edition, yes." Pulls it over, looks at the glue underneath where it's bound over there, opens inside. Oh, I do say this is a signed copy. Most rare. Pity it's only the first volume of the book, you know. But, well, at least mine is a second edition with both volumes, you know. I only paid 100 gold for mine. What did she swindle you?
It run me for 10 gold, but I had to pay more.
And he looks at you, and all of a sudden you can see the colour in his face drain and turn from pale white to red. He's like, 10 gold pieces? I paid a bloody 100 for mine. Well,
I know it was a bargain, but look, it's leather bound and all. Oh my god.
And
Well, at least you got both the volumes.
That is true. This Volo man made a lot of money.
Well, I tell you, if I find Volo somewhere around here in Port Nanzaru, I'm going to have a word with him. Bloody hell. The Aarakocra undercharging for a book? Oh, that's worth at least 50 gold for half that volume. 10 bloody gold?
It is okay, Ponty.
Oh, no, this is a tragedy. I tell you what, somebody is underselling the services of Master Volo himself. Explorer extraordinaire.
He is an explorer that writes about monsters.
Oh dear
Pretty
God.
much, yeah.
The man is a
Well,
legend.
So instead
Maybe.
of stabbing them when he sees him, he starts taking notes on their anatomy.
That seems very silly.
Yes.
The pen is mightier than the sword, they say, you know. Especially
I
when you're in
don't.
a city.
I don't think it is Ponty.
Oh, I tell
Are
you
you
what.
sure? You
And
could
this
try
is
and take down your adversary, perhaps, with a pen.
And this is
No.
exactly why the three lads are not allowed anywhere near the tree. Now,
So Varga, you can spend time reading that book, and when you encounter a monster around Chult, I will allow you to roll, what is it, a history check for your book, and give you some information
All right, all right.
on the monster. So, for example, if you come across the lightning dragon in the sky, and you were looking quickly paging through and you wanted to know if it had any weaknesses, I might be able to, and you roll well, I might turn around and say, yeah, it's undead, so, you know, it might be able to be turned, or radiant damage might do it more damage or something.
All right. I just realized that I'm collecting random books about Chult.
Mm-hmm.
I like this.
the walking library.
Right, so, you make your way next door, and, you notice that the door to this dwelling is slightly ajar. Peering inside, you can see a bulky Aarakocra behind a counter, eyeglass attached to his face, bent over and busy working on some tiny trinket, a small glass box of some sort. He's holding a small pointy tool in his hand, busy tightening some edges to keep it together. He looks like a falcon. Brown and grey plumage with white spots on his wings and a small yellow hooked beak. He's maybe 5 foot tall, but stockily built for a bird. He's wearing some sort of a shiny armor, overlapping plates of metal discs about the size of dinner plates, but much thinner than plated armor, and seemingly flexible, for it seems to stick to his muscles on his chest and his arms. The armor covers most of his body and his limbs. A golden monkey is perched on his shoulder that looks as if it's made of metal, small wings spreading out from behind it. Looking around the room, you notice that the small interior is filled with weapons, swords, spears, axes and maces that line the walls and hang off racks. Breastplates hang on dummies, and a barrel in the corner is filled with arrows and bolts. Directly opposite the door, between a ladder and a weapons rack, is a 6 foot tall iron statue that turns to you to look at you as you enter. It takes a step forward, and the Aarakocra gives a little bird-like cuckle, and it stops, and then steps back. The Aarakocra's face begins to smile as he sees you enter. Hello! Welcome to my smithy. I am Quiff. What can I help you with today?
Impressive work, Griff, does the gestures to the giant statue. Um, Never seen one quite that size move before.
Yes. This is Ion. And this, he points to the little golden monkey with wings made out of thin steel on his shoulder, is called Weewoo. I have seen your kind before, Tabaxi. Blessed by Uptau you are.
A lost child returns to the jungle, yes. I must admit I haven't been here since I was a little cub.
indeed. Where have you been?
Shackled in a mansion far across the sea.
Ah, the weight of humankind. I
Yes, it is not kind to us.
I understand. I trained with the artificers. I know what they're kind of capable of.
Um,
Prithee, how may I serve you today?
I am looking around, noticing a lot of metal armor. You are not capable. Not capable. Do you have any leather armor as well?
Why, of course. I am an armorer, a smith. Um, I make trinkets and weapons, things for battle. I equip all of the Arakocra here in Kir Sabal.
Would you have something that is maybe my size and Dustin sort of opens his not opens but lifts his arms out to show his size, but realizing that he's actually still wearing the robe. I don't think any of us changed.
No.
So, and he sort of like stumbles a little bit at that. Yeah, uh, and he sort of tightens up entirely.
What material are you looking for this wonderful protection?
Something leather, something perhaps studded, something that can protect me better than. And then he sort of like opens up because he still wears his. I think he still wore his leather underneath. Let me just check. No, he didn't.
No,
Never mind.
you went born naked, baby.
Yeah, I did. So something
Have
that.
you have a
Yeah.
request for some magical imbued protection?
Um, Not necessarily. No. Just something that is that is still flexible, that protects a little better than what I already got. But it's back at the dwelling, unfortunately. Or
Quiff is a master artificer. Quiff can make you magical armor.
yes, but the Tabaxi would also have to be able to afford the magic armor. That is why I hesitate to get you working on something my size that is magical.
Alternatively, Quiff can take this other armor you speak of and imbue that for you. And you could save cost on materials.
That might be useful. Yeah.
We got some studded leather magic armor.
Yes, but someone else is wearing it.
Oh, right.
I think Lunan's got it, doesn't he?
I think Lunan or Jalena, one or the other.
Lunan just walks in through the door. Like, yeah. Don't give away my armor now, huh?
I didn't.
Welcome.
Looking at.
Yes, my travel companions. This is Lunan, and this is Vargo. I am Dustard. Anyone else joining us in here?
Probably gonna waltz in there, got nothing better to do.
This is Valrus, this is Jalena, and this is Ponty.
Oh, I do say, old chap. Hello.
Pleasure to meet you.
Ponty looks around, doesn't seem very interested, and just sits in the corner and listens. I am Quiff. Welcome. Trained armorer, smith, artificer. How may I serve you today?
I take notice on the what's the name? The homunculus? No,
Yep.
it's not.
Immediately you notice the homunculus servant in the corner
Yes.
on his shoulder, which looks like a golden monkey made out of a thin steel infused with gold. But with your keen eye and knowledge of the trade, you know it's not actual gold. It looks like a blend of like copper and gold and some other material. But what really catches your eye is the steel defender construct, which is standing guard.
Yes. Oh, it's like being home again. Did you make this yourself?
Quiff made this himself. Yes. Pray tell, Are you interested in artificing?
I was, not anymore. It's a good job you have done here.
Thank you. I am appreciating of your comments. I have a lot of work outfitting all of the Aarakocra here in Kir Sabal.
It's a huge work.
Many do not appreciate the finer arts that Quiff is accustomed to. Sometimes sharp edge is more sufficient for them.
And
While you guys are talking, can I just skip out to get the armor?
You can do so, yeah? So you're gonna go and grab your leather.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So you disappear for a little while. Anyone else doing anything?
Not really, maybe.
Look around.
Yeah.
yes,
See-
are you perhaps interested in acquiring some magical weaponry and armor?
Why, Quiff would be interested in a purchase of such equipment if it is useful for the community here. Quiff shall make a purchase. Alternatively, Quiff can trade.
Yeah, that's always an option. What do you have for us, Quiff?
The question is, what are you willing to trade, and what do you want?
Alright. Do we do this, guys? Let's see.
Yeah, what we wanted to trade. What was still left? Was the bow still left?
I have the bow with me right now, so
Okay.
that's difficult to barter with. I also have the glaive, which is also one you can barter with.
Yep, you've got.
There is a sword bow.
The short sword is the one Jalena is running around with, and you are welcome to try and take it from her. If you dare.
I'll get the pot.
Yeah. There is also a glaive.
Yeah, I just said.
All those +1.
So yeah,
But-
I would say you've got the glaive +1, the short bow +1.
Yeah.
By any chance, you don't know how to get rid of a curse?
Quiff is not equipped for dealing with curses. However,
I think.
teacher
Yeah, we
may be
figured.
able to help.
Yeah.
Ponty also said something at some point. Didn't you, Ponty?
Who is cursed?
Don't worry about it.
Yes,
Just for the future.
I can separate somebody, but I cannot get rid of it entirely. And Ponty nervously looks at Yelena. Are you in the room, Yelena?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ponty's like in the corner, tapping his feet, trying not to give anything away. But what he could, you remember that he can cast the spell to separate her from the weapon, but he can't get rid of anything affecting the weapon permanently. Only the connection between the two of them. For that, you need a greater skilled priest.
Mm-hmm.
We can
So-
probably figure something out.
Nobody is cursed. Why do we need to figure something out?
I tell you who is cursed is that bloody chap who you're looking for. He'll be cursed when you find him, won't he?
Yeah.
If I find him. Which reminds me, do you have any way of tracking a person who got away?
A person you have to kill?
A very bad person. He tried to kill us in our sleep.
Can step behind or like,
Quiff,
Quiff
Quiff knows.
sort of behind Yelena and shake my hand towards the merchant.
And Quiff is standing there with his fists on his hips, and he's like, Quiff knows of these things.
What are you
They,
doing?
they sound like witch doctor magic to me. Hmm. From
You
my
know?
understanding, you would need a hair from the head of your victim to track him.
That will be a problem, I think.
I don't think I have a hair.
A drop of blood, perhaps.
Do you have any blood left on her sword from him?
You'd probably clean it.
You most definitely cleaned it if you're attached to that sword. You probably want to keep it pristine. You probably licked it
Oh
clean.
man.
I tasted his blood, I want some more.
I don't have anything of his, I think. I know what he looks like.
Quiff cannot help in this. Quiff
Oh.
can perhaps help with a magic item.
Do you have any healing potions?
Quiff has this. And Quiff turns around, puts his hand on the wall, and all of a sudden you see like part of the wall shift across, and as it does, it opens, and there is a rack of various potions on like a little wooden shelf embedded into the wall.
Ooh.
And on the top you can see there's 5 what you recognize as red healing potions. How many would you like?
I would take. Wait. Oh wait. How much is like a common healing potion?
You asking me or you asking the group?
You.
Okay. You can ask Cliff.
You can ask Quiff.
That's true. How much are your little healing potions?
Quiff does not sell little. Quiff only goes large. And he gives a glance at his steel golem and gives his golem a wink. And the golem gives a bit of a nod and a bow.
Okay. How much are your very large healing potions?
Quiff reaches up with his hand and he pulls down a large vial, and it's like a deep red kind of an amber liquid, and he swirls it in front of him and he puts it down. Quiff made this great healing. 150 gold.
I don't think I have enough for the very big portion. I'm very sorry.
Quiff sees you are bent on revenge. Quiff
Yes.
might discount his price. Quiff hears that you have magic items for trade.
Who has the glaive?
I still do. I'm
Yeah,
carrying all the magic items,
Yeah.
and I'm not here.
That's true. Dustin has got all of the magic items in his room.
Dusted happened.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to wait for me to come back.
All right. We will wait. In the meantime, why don't you give us a tour for your shop? So what do you have?
Certainly.
Be- Before
Mm-hmm.
I step out of the store quickly and see if I'm within 150 feet of our place, and message Dusted to bring the magical items as well.
Oh, very clever. I believe.
Yes, can you hear me?
And Dusted, you hear this voice enter your mind as you recognize whose voice it is. Lunan's.
Yes, Lunan, what is it?
Oh yeah, we're down here at the blacksmith still. Could you bring some? Could you bring the magical items as well, the glaive and the bow,
Yes, certainly.
for potential trading opportunities?
Of course.
Great.
Just
See you soon. Bye.
just as you're about to make your way out of the dwelling, you have to turn around and go back.
Obviously. And suddenly Dusted has changed from the robes and is back in more sort of like convenient armor because he's been alone in the hut. He's tried to scrape off as much of dust that is in his fur, clumps of disgusting stuff, and just get rid of it as much as possible.
Don't
He still has a lot of patches sitting in his fur.
don't forget your dust is now actually being replaced with salt and then cleansed with water.
Yeah.
So it's not dusty. You've got more like dried salt on your fur
Ugh.
from the cleansing
Patches.
chamber.
Yeah, patches of it. Oh god,
Salt is
nasty.
cold.
Oh well.
Eventually, Dusted makes his way back into the blacksmith, and the first thing that greets you is the smell of lavender perfume as he walks in. As he sprinkled a little bit on himself to cover the salt smell. Carrying underneath his arms his leather armor, his studded leather armor, the bow, and the glaive.
And he puts the glaive down. Well, not puts it down, but sort of like holds it in his hand and sort of like so you can see the length of it as he just places it down, standing with it next to him, so it's on display. Yes, sorry, that took a little longer than expected. Here you are.
As you were waiting, you did want to know what Quiff had in his store, and he's got a variety of weapons: swords, spears, axes, maces. There's various suits of armor lying around, arrows and bolts. And Quiff has explained anything that you require that needs to be magical. He can imbue something with a small magical enchantment. If there is anything in particular that you're looking for, please tell Quiff, and Quiff will make happen.
For starters, how much will you be able to give us for this glaive and this short bow?
Quiff will talk trade first, if that is what you are interested in.
Well, I was interested in this armor being imbued for once.
Excellent. Quiff can do this.
And do the rest of you have anything that you want?
Yeah, you
That
look
you
at the
need
counter.
urgently?
You've noticed that there's a whole rack of potions behind Quiff as you've walked back in.
I was going to buy us a big healing potion.
Oh, so one big healing potions, enchantment of the leather. Is there anything else that people would like?
He's got 6 healing potions on his rack, as well as various others. Quiff will take this. And he puts his hand on the glaive and puts it on the counter as he inspects the blade at the edge of the glaive and looks at it with his monocled eye. Reaches around and grabs 2 more potions off the top, puts them on the counter, and Quiff will imbue your armor and trade for the glaive. 3 potions and the magic armor for the glaive.
Any objections to that? And Dusty sort of looks around.
That sounds like a fair deal. How long will it take to imbue the armor?
Quiff will have it by tomorrow night.
Oof. Do you see it? We have kind of a thing in the morning. Have to go in a search party of sorts. Will it be possible to accelerate the process?
As a servant of the Artificer realm, Quiff won't need to tell you twice. Perfection comes with time.
You're right.
What if you
time
have
is
it
off
done
the-
tomorrow?
I still have my old leather armor that you could borrow, Dusted, while he enchant this if you want.
I actually, just a second. Off game here for a moment. How big is Lunan again?
Well, he's an elf. He's about 5'2", 5'4".
I'm 5'4" as well. That's just the point. I'm just Dustin is sort of like looking at Lunan like, okay, how tall are we compared to each other? Does it actually make sense?
I think we're quite similar.
Oh my god, I was convinced that was taller than me.
No, he's a small one.
Oh, right.
He's 5'4", yeah.
Chris,
Tabaxis
in-
doesn't get that big.
The leather will fit you, no problem.
Maybe we can just come back and get it once we have been and seen this place. We don't have to. If time is of the essence, I can just use Lunan's leather, and then we can just come back and get it. Would that be okay with Quiff if we come back and collect it later than tomorrow night?
Quiff is okay with this if Quiff can start work on it tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
I think that works. I think.
I mean, we have to get back to meet teacher eventually.
Yes, we have to go back to Kir Sabal. Anyways,
Just out of interest, what other potions do you have?
Quiff has a potion to make you invisible.
Nice. That could be useful.
Wait. Invisible, like totally invisible. You cannot be seen.
For how long?
For as long as you remain passive.
Okay, perfect.
Fascinating.
I see that you deal with potions, Cliff. Would you care to add some alchemist supplies to this deal? I'm willing to pay, of course.
Yeah.
Did we lose Stefan?
Oh, sorry, I sat on my mute. Sorry, where did I lose? Yes, Quiff can exchange potions, supplies. What is it that you're looking for?
Quite literally, alchemist supplies. Materials to brew my own potions, given the time.
Quiff can do this, and Quiff can lend you some supplies, unless you are looking for a alchemy kit.
I think that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, it's a tool, alchemist supplies.
Yeah.
All right.
Quiff can do this.
Yeah. I will like to add that to the mix.
So, Quiff can give you alchemy kit and the potion of invisibility, and Quiff may even throw in this, and he pulls down a large potion off the shelf. It is like a dark sort of a greenish liquid inside. This is a potion that will help cure the poison. Should you feel that you are being poisoned, or fall under the spell of poison.
Let me. Does somebody wants that?
If it's being offered, I see why not. No reason not to accept.
Poison resistance. Sorry.
Do these Yuan-Ti use poisons at all?
So poison resistance, you said the invisibility and the supply for what?
Vargo wants
alchemist supplies.
Yeah, alchemist supplies. So
Yeah, but what did you ask for it?
Oh, you haven't traded yet, but
okay.
Quiff is busy eyeing up the magical short bow for trade, if that's what you're looking for. The 3... You've already got the 3 healing potions.
Yep.
And the armor imbued.
Mm-hmm.
Not ready yet. But
The armor is not ready yet. Yeah, you've swapped the glaive for the 3
Yes.
potions in the armor.
Mhm.
And for the bow, he'll give you alchemy supplies, potion of invisibility, potion of poison resistance, and 1 other potion as well for the bow. And he's gonna save that one actually, but he will pull down a potion and hand it across, and inside the potion it is almost like a clear, transparent, white, bluish liquid inside. It almost looks as the potion inside itself is icy, like mercury, but you can see it slowly moving, and there's a little bit of frost on the edge of the glass where just at the stopper where the potion doesn't touch, you can see it's slightly cold. Quiff is proud of this potion, and he slowly pushes it forward. He says, "This is the strength of the frost giant. Quiff will trade this too."
Oh my god. Jarlena will love that.
It will make me strong or big like a frost giant.
This will give you the strength of the frost giant in particular. And Quiff picks up the vial in 2 hands, and as he swirls it around, you can see something dink, dink, dink on the inside. And as you look closer, you actually see what you thought is a piece of long wood. You actually recognize as the fingernail. Quiff struck the killing blow on this giant himself. Quiff made a potion of frost giant strength. Quiff will trade this.
Oh wow. You killed the frost giant all on your own?
Quiff cannot say it was on his own, but Quiff dealt the killing blow.
Well done.
I take it Eon gave you a little bit of help with that.
Well, yes. Eon and teacher. And unfortunately, and all of a sudden he says, Urk. Yes. And then you see a wave of anguish cover his hawkish features as he mentions the name Urk. And he becomes a little bit depressed. Great loss, yes. But Quiff managed to make a potion. You should beware. Frost giants are common these days in Chult. Quiff has seen this. Quiff knows.
Why would
What
they...
are... Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Would they not want to be somewhere cold?
Quiff thinks
Why?
this too, but Quiff knows frost giants are here searching.
What are you looking for?
That is something Quiff cannot answer.
Okay.
We did see some giants on our way down here,
Yeah.
tracking for some
They lived behind
footprints.
this ice, didn't they? It was cold,
Yes.
some of it.
Yes, they leave footprints behind that we follow, and then the undead attack us. And we have to run for our lives. So yes, they are here, indeed.
And Quiff strokes his little hawkish chin and looks at you as he takes in this information. He goes, "There is a legend Quiff knows of. Many of us here know of when you speak of frost giants. They have worshipped the god that wants to take over the world. The frost giants search for the Ring of Winter. An ancient relic, artificed many years ago, said to hold the power to turn the land to frost. Interesting that the frost giants are here. And you have seen signs of the Ring of Winter, perhaps. Quiff will think on this and research some more. Quiff might have to speak to some connections.
Does Quick have any more need of cross-giant nails?
Quiff can do with all sorts of monster bits and pieces. Why, Quiff has even fashioned a potion himself from his own feathers.
Really? Well played.
Yes, Quiff has created the power to fly. However, it is still experimental. I've almost got the correct measurements.
A potion of fly, you say? Oof. Please make sure to tell us when that's ready.
Quiff,
Yes.
14 arrows. And Dusted holds up. He's been rummaging through the barrel and trying to find 14 sort of like decent looking arrows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the barrel is filled with like good quality ranged weaponry, so no problem finding bundles of arrows. They come in 12s.
Oh, well, then I'll just get 12.
Mm-hmm. They're
No,
just normal,
no bartering on this one. I'm paying in gold.
They're just normal arrows, yes?
Yeah.
So you don't want those imbued with any magic.
No.
Quiff will throw this in for the bow. You can take the 12 arrows.
Alright. So, alchemy supplies, potion of invisibility, potion of poison resistance, potion of frost giant strength,
Yep, that is, and the arrows.
and the arrows.
Mm-hmm. When Quiff perfects the potion of flying, Quiff will let you know.
Are we alright with this, guys?
I have no objections.
Might
As
have an idea.
I think we've discussed this before. The short bow does absolutely minimal effort for me, so I wouldn't mind if it's used for something useful like this.
Alright. I want you to see that when I take the potion of frost giant strength. So yeah, let's do it.
That's only because everyone in the group will be fucking terrified when that happens, and just get out the fucking way.
Oh boy.
Yes.
I have deleted both the magic weapons from my inventory, so we assume that Quiff has them now, right?
Correct. Yeah. Okay.
See
So,
what
lastly, Cliff, I would like to acquire from you, if you have them on the ready, Tinker's tools. I left mine when I left the academy, and if you have them, Smith tools as well.
Quiff can get these for you.
Mhm.
They may cost a pretty penny. Quiff might have to ask for 50 gold.
It's okay. I understand. I will give it to you. They are worth that many. And I give him
Mm-hmm. You give him 50 gold.
50 or 15.
50.
Yeah, I will give him 130 silver and 37 gold.
Okay. Quiff will have this ready for you with the armor tomorrow night.
Alright, works for me.
Quiff will hold on to the items should you be late. Quiff will not charge you for holding fee. Quiff is easy like this.
We will probably be late, actually. So yeah, that works.
Quiff will be here. Quiff will not be flying anywhere else. Not to worry.
The alchemy supplies, do you have on the ready?
Indeed. and Quiff hands them over to you. He goes upstairs because he has to collect them and then comes back down and gives them to you.
Thank you very much.
Anything else?
Nope, that's all.
Okay, so it's gonna be so you've swapped then the glaive and the short bow for a potion of frost round strength, poison resistance, and invisibility, 3 potions of greater healing, and studded leather armor +1. And then of course you're gonna add your
Oh no, it was not a studded. It was just a leather +1.
was you
Because I only have leather. I don't have the studded.
Oh, but I can buy you that.
he's gonna make it into studded leather if you want.
Oh yeah, then yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Because whatever you've got, you said studded when you walked in.
Oh yeah, but this isn't studded what I gave him. That's just the point. Yeah.
That doesn't matter. You know, the studs will
thank
go
God.
in, and the studs will most likely be added onto it. You don't have to worry about that. Yeah? Did I leave anything out?
Nope, I think that's all.
Not to my knowledge, no.
Do you
I
guys
just
want
need
to?
I just need to write it down unless someone already did.
I've
He
added
just
it.
posted.
Do you guys want to decide who takes the potions now? I would like to not have the healing potions. I can cure myself.
I mean, we already agreed that Jalena should have the Frost Giant strength, right? She should
Yes,
also have
please.
one of the
Oh,
potions of
boy.
greater healing.
Yes.
Yes.
Sure. Thank you.
Does it give most sense to give the invisibility potion to Lunan? Isn't he the one that can be trusted the most with it?
That's a good argument for giving someone. Yeah.
I mean, considering if Dustin looks around the group, if he was handing the potion of invisibility out, he would be like, "Yeah, Lunan can be trusted with this.
Yeah.
I cannot be trusted. You cannot be trusted, Ray, and
Honestly,
Valorous cannot be trusted."
I will give the potion of invisibility to someone who can stealth. But I see your point.
Up to all of you. Right. I say we hit to our break then. 15 minutes, so should we call that 15-minute break and we come back and then we carry on? I take it everyone's finished in the smithy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright. Then let's take our break now quickly.
Playing, what's his name? Matthew.
Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah.
Matthew Mercer.
No, Matthew McConaughey. Alright.
Alright.
Yeah. You got that one quite quickly. So, the company is called geekyclean.com.
Instead of squeaky clean, I get it.
Yep. Let's have a look at geekyclean.com, selling dice bath bombs. Oh wow. They're only £11. Shit the bed.
Wait, £11. So, well, that's not that much compared to what dice normally cost.
I know, right? We'll notify you about... okay, allow. Well, let's see. Oh, mind you...
Have you been to the temple in Kir Sabal? Do you need to get all this shit out of your fur after being there? Why not try one of Geeky Clean's bath bombs?
Yeah, made that canon.
Mango and papaya fragrance, a dice set with purple, blue, lavender, pink, lilac, grape, fuchsia, and all the colors in between.
Well, you just said lavender. That's Dusted right there. There you go. Dusted can commercialize this stuff.
Oh yeah, you can commercialize
Oh,
the
yeah.
shit out of it. Wow!
Bowel beer?
How dare you? What did you call me?
There's a product. Bowel beer.
Right, now that I've seen that, I have to go onto Amazon and buy myself a new set of dice just to make myself feel better.
Or you can get the box Bafina collection. It's only £120 for the whole thing.
Is that all?
It's
Don't
9
tempt me, man.
bath bombs.
It's what?
9 bath bombs.
Holy shit. The collection. The Vox Bathina. Oh my god. That is amazing. Oh, one of them sold out. Oh, Jesus. So many are sold out.
You have the monster.
Oh, are you looking at the bauble bear? The
Yeah.
monster. That's just yellow dice, though. I'm a bit skeptical about how cheap these dice will be, though, you know?
They probably don't roll very well.
The quality of them. Yeah.
Yeah, probably not a patch.
But you can probably find really good dice for the purpose that you need. This is the one to roll for a 20, and this is the one to roll for a 1.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, so what is it? Loaded die, yeah, because they are on what do you call it? Unevenly matched or created.
Yeah. Or you just tweaking the odds a bit.
Although, mind you, I mean, I've got a d20 that I've been rolling with. It was the first 20 I bought. And if I roll combat, I don't use any other d20 if I want to actually hit something.
Yeah, I seem to have those in certain battles, but then in the next battle, the same die will only roll shit, so it usually evens out. And it seems like it's the same when I'm rolling online. Certain days I'm rolling horrible, and certain days everything goes my way.
Yeah.
I mean, you just need to play a game like I do, where ones are critical successes, and then you can always excuse that your dice think you're playing the other game.
Yeah,
That's what I do, anyway.
yeah. Or you have to be, and then you should also be called what's his name? Star Wars guy.
Luke Skywalker.
Not Star Wars. No, I was thinking the guy
I
that.
guess you're thinking,
Yeah, I am.
yeah, what's his face? Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton.
Star Wars guy. So you mean Star Trek guy?
Yeah, I meant that.
Yes, okay. Will Wheaton. Will Wheaton! Critical one.
My brain doesn't work at all today. It had to go up too early.
That's okay. We forgive you. Is everyone back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah? Man, okay, I'm gonna put my phone down because I can't buy dice right now. I'm busy DMing. Okay, let's close Vox Bathina, the bath bomb set. Right, guys, so welcome back to the second part of our session. Basically, in the last session, you got to meet the merchants and the artificer blacksmith. Trade in your 2 magic items for a cool amount of potions, as well as studded leather armor, which is going to be going to Dusted tomorrow, and then some Tinker's Artificer's kits for Vargo. All kitted out and ready to leave, I guess, in the evening. Not much else to do but go to bed, unless you plan on stepping into the tavern and carousing the night away.
Really quickly, and because I'm broke, literally, I would like to pass by the merchant again and quickly show her my sabu mushrooms, which I got 12, and not much to do with them. So I would like to ask her if she will be interested in purchasing those.
So you go into the merchants, and Aru is standing behind there, and she smiles when she sees you come in. Welcome to my trading post. Is there anything you need I can help with?
Yes, actually, I would like to know if these are these are of any in interest to you. And I showed her the mushrooms
Mm-hmm. So you pull the mushrooms out and you place them down on the counter, or you just hold them in your hands?
on the counter.
Okay. Yes. I can give you 2 silver.
Come on, you cannot do better than that, I suppose.
2 silver and 10 copper.
Ah, you know what? Do you still have any more of that remedy against exhaustion?
No. That was
Mm,
the last.
all right, that's unfortunate. I will keep the mushrooms, but thank you for your time. Uh, and yes, enjoy your platinum. Sorry for the copper. Bye.
You are welcome. Thank you. Oh, she was ready to give you, like, 30 copper pieces there.
Yeah, it was close. Don't get me wrong, but
Alright. Anything else?
nope.
So, you guys head off back to your dwelling. Kitted in for the night. Valrus, I'm going to assume that you finish your
Absolutely.
concoction. Okay.
Yes.
So you need to drink the whole thing within a 24-hour period for it to take effect.
Gonna down it.
Okay, so you down it. I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw, I believe. Let me just double check. Wow, that came up. You got a 15.
Yeah.
I am pretty sure that's fine. It was. I just want to make sure. MNOP, yeah. So it is DC 12 Constitution saving throw. So you
got it then.
are easily done. So yeah, you drink it and almost immediately you feel the effects of you hit. And for the next hour, you find it very difficult to fall asleep while the concoction starts to work. However, thereafter, you manage to sleep right through the night. Unless there's anything else that you want to do before you go to bed.
No, not really.
Okay, so you fall asleep, and from your long rest, you go down to 3, and from the concoction by the morning, you'll go down to 2.
Yes.
So you just need another another rest to get rid of your second level of exhaustion, but you're
Yep.
still speed is still halved.
Yep.
Is everyone else gonna tuck in for the night?
Um, yes, but really quickly, who has the potions then? Yelena strength.
Luna was handed the invisibility, so he just kept it.
Okay.
But doesn't.
Jalena also got one of the greater healings because that was what she was after to begin with, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that blesses us with 2 other great healing potions.
Mm-hmm.
Who Who takes them?
I don't know who needs them.
Dustin, you should probably take one.
Okay, I'll take one then. Okay, yeah.
And one left.
I don't know who can't heal themselves.
I can't.
Then
Then Barris.
yeah.
Maybe,
Sure.
maybe that's a good idea, even with all that's happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, but then
But I already have one greater healing potion.
And then there's a poison resistance.
oh yeah, didn't remember that one. Dusted or Jarlena, I will say.
I mean, I already have techie roots. That doesn't give resistance, but it makes it easier to recover from poison, at least.
They say you take the poison resistance one as well, because you usually end up quite close to things.
Well,
Yes.
that's true.
Right? So let's mark that out on our inventory, and that's it.
Yeah, everyone add that. Cool. All good? Has everyone chosen their spells that they're going to memorize for the next day?
Oof. Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so obviously after the long rest, everyone's bits and bobs reset. So the only issue we have is Valrus on 2 levels of exhaustion.
Still slowed.
Still slow, half pace. So the following morning, you wake up to a knock on the door. Howdy, y'all! And it's Nefa. The sun has only just risen above the sky, above the horizon, as the skies outside are pink and gold. This high up, there's no cloud cover, and you can feel the heat piercing through the window upstairs. I brought some breakfast and a little bit of bread and cheese for y'all. What say? You ready to go in 5 minutes?
Yes. All right. Let's do this.
So, you all set about getting dressed, ready, strapping on weapons, getting your bags packed. Are you taking all of your kit, or are you leaving some stuff behind?
I'll take all of it. What I have.
It sounded like there would be what is it called undead there, so I think I'll bring mine as well.
Yeah, same here.
I guess we could leave the canoe.
That's
Good
maybe
point.
a good idea, yeah. So that
Yeah.
doesn't get. I mean, these snake people don't seem pretty nice, so it would be really a shame if, we lost some of the vital items while we're there.
Or do you think we need it in the swamp?
Oof, good point.
Nefa, how is the swamp? Is it any open water in there, or is it just packed with vegetation?
Well, you know, no one's really been in the swamp, but it's a swamp, so you gotta think there's gotta be some water down there.
Yeah, let's take it, the canoe.
I'd reckon you take the canoe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we are set.
Just in case. Right, so to get all your belongings set together, and Nefa leads you down towards the elevator again. You all gather onto the platform, and Nefa gives a little trill, and the platform slowly begins to move downwards. In the early morning, you gaze across the landscape. A thin veil of fog hangs over the treetops, and you can see for miles in the distance. From this high up, you can see a break in the trees to the east and the south, where the river Olong cuts through the land southwards. You glance eastwards, and now that you're aware of the wastes, you can see the greenish mist hanging over a large, barren part of the landscape, lifeless trees poking up out of the mist as if they've been suffocated by it. The mist seems to stretch away from you for miles, and then the platform dips below the tree line, and you glance downwards at the small huts with straw roofs below you. Casting your eye about, you can see a figure has emerged, shading her eyes up against the light as she looks up at your slow descent. It's Azaka. She waves, disappears into the hut, and then returns with a pack in her hand. Eventually, you reach the bottom, with a wobble of the elevator, and Azaka comes walking over, looks at you all, and then glances at Valrus with a concerned look on her face. It was fun, Aish, but it looks like you have been left out in the sun for too many days with no water. Are you sure you are up for this journey?
I've got no other choice, I believe, and it wasn't quite set out in the sun. Plenty of water up there.
Oh, well, as long as you are brave and you can make the journey, this is good, yeah?
It'll just be a bit of a slow walk for the
Yes.
foreseeable future.
Okay, sure. Right, and then into the map we go. From this high up, I have actually improved our map. So this is your land of Chult that you've seen from your high vantage points and gathered from your travels so far. Just so everyone is aware.
DM, we can see all the map.
I know.
Oh!
I know you can. I have taken off all of the points on the map so that you can actually see everything. What is included, however, are the shaded areas where you have picked up rumors of like heavy undead activity. Those are in the portions in the middle that you know of. Bearing in mind, at Kir Sabal, you were right at the top. You could see out for miles. Oh, Lunan, it doesn't load for you. Well, the map looks beautiful. I could actually, I can upload it to the Discord. Main chat. Let's just make sure I don't upload the wrong one.
Just tell us where the soulmonger is.
It's there in the jungle. Or is it?
Right there, where I'm pointing on the screen. Can you see it?
Yeah, exactly there. There we go. Let's just hope that it's not too big. Yeah, 1.31 megs. Let's hope that uploads. Okay. I need a marching order from everybody, please. What I will do is actually add you all to the map. That might be the first thing. There we go. Right, so who is going to, obviously, who's going to take the lead? Nefer reaches out in front, seeing as he is going to be going first. And who's going?
I'm usually in the back, I think, keeping off the back.
I can join Nefa in the front, keeping an eye open for things. If he is our guide anyway, he should know the way.
I will be close to Lunan.
Probably be second to last.
Okay, so Neff will be out in the front. Then Vargo, did you say you're going second?
Luna.
Close to London.
Lunan
So-
second. Okay. Yelena, where are you going?
She'll go after Vargo.
Okay. Dusted?
I'll be the backline, I think, for this.
Okay. You're going to be at the back. Right.
Balgris, for God's sake, heal.
I can't. Oh, right, I
You
can.
should have to heal 2 levels of exhaustion, yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you should be on full HP, not 17.
Yes.
Exactly.
So,
Yes.
whilst you're busy sorting all of that out, Valrus, Nefer begins to lead you eastwards, away from Kir Sabal. With Valrus in the state that he's in, it should take us most of the day to reach the wastes. Just follow me! And with a beat of his wings, he leaps into the air and hovers about 15 feet off the ground. Well, come on, y'all! You all set off, and Azaka slowly moves to the back of the marching order. For most of the morning, you skirt the length of the mountain that leads from the cliff face that is Kir Sabal, as the sun climbs higher in the sky and the heat begins to increase with it. Your journey through the tall grass is uneventful. Both Nefer and Azaka scout out in different directions throughout the day, returning with some fruits and nuts to keep you going. Eventually Nefer points ahead, hovering in place. That's it, up ahead! You gaze out over the grass. Just pause this over here. You gaze out over the grass where he's pointing, and the noonday sun shines brightly over yellow-green haze about a mile ahead of you. Every now and then, the haze erupts upwards in a puff of mist as something underneath bubbles up and blows a jet of air skywards. Your nose catches a faint scent in the air, like rotting eggs and meat. Nefer lands. Well, alrighty folks, I guess this is where I say my farewells. If the blight touches our wings, they begin to wither and die. No Aarakocra wants to die falling to their death, you know, or land up as a walker for the rest of their lives. So we've all been banned by the teacher coming within a mile of this place, you know, for our own safety. Unfortunately, that means that we don't really know much about the wastes, you know, save that this land was ravaged by a blight that is slowly growing. What I can tell you is that the fortress of Raznazi was located to the southeast of here, maybe 20 miles deep into the wastes. Good luck, y'all. I'll be waiting for you here by tomorrow evening. And he turns to give you all a hug, slipping a small vial into your hand, Valrus, that you recognize as a Mengaleaf potion. Stay safe, my
Ooh,
friend.
yeah.
And he gives you a big hug and taps you on the back. And then steps back, leaps into the air, and with a flap of his wings, he flies off, the bright afternoon sun shining on his back as he leaves you.
Alright. Hmm.
Right. So, you are currently situated underneath the little K for Kir Sabal on the map by the wastes.
Hmm.
Where do you head?
Should we scout ahead on our way?
I suppose.
Alright, and I will send Arky a good 100 feet in front of us, just keeping an eye out as we go southwest.
Okay, where are you? You headed southwest, so you're heading into the wastes, into the swamp.
Yes, the direction Nafra point us at.
Towards. Okay. You make your way through the thinning grasslands towards the bog. Aki scouts ahead as he gets to the edge, and he slows down and stops before he actually enters the wastes and waits for you to catch up. The oppressive heat from the noonday sun slowly starts to die down as the sun moves nearer to the horizon. But in this heat, that rotting scent grows ever stronger, and as you get closer, you can see the air growing thicker above the wastes. The haze seems to reduce your visibility to less than half a mile. You can only imagine how poor the visibility must be at night or during a storm. The land ahead of you is pocked with little bits of land, rotting swamp, green sludge. Aish, but this place, it looks like death has rolled over it and left it to rot. Best we get through this as quickly as we can, nah? You slowly
Yes,
make your
you're
way.
right.
Slowly make your way to the edge of the swamp.
Quickly will be a problem at the moment.
Oh, right, we are going slower, I think, because of Barbris.
But if we're going to use the foldable
Canoe.
canoe, yeah.
You'll all still be at the same pace.
Why are you looking at me? You want me to drag you somewhere now?
Why would you think that?
I don't know. You're looking at me and looking all. Oh, I'm so slow because I touched something I shouldn't have.
You're very quick, Jarlena.
I don't think your comments are necessarily needed at this time.
I think they are because maybe next
Focus
time you
on
want to do
finding
it.
your adversary, and
Well, I would if I didn't have traitors near me.
well, good thing you don't.
I know.
Oh dear. Does somebody want to mark on the map where you guys are headed to? What direction you're going in?
Uh,
Do we actually have we have a map that where we can see this place, right?
Mm-hmm. I've put it in the Discord chat.
Yes, I know, but I'm just asking if we have this map actually in our possession as players.
Yeah.
Yes.
We do.
yes.
Because then, I mean, isn't it just to sort of like guess somewhere that is south east within the wastes then, and then just draw a sort of like little
Yeah,
dot.
that's true. Could we use
So something
some
like
kind of...
this or something like.
Mm-hmm. So that's.
We can use a marker.
Yep, you can use a marker. I can add in a marker as well.
There you go.
Are you using Aki as a marker?
Why not?
Well, that's a huge marker.
That is a huge
Alright,
Well,
Alright,
roughly
alright.
heading that direction, anyways.
so I guess we are around here?
No, under the K. Under the
Yeah,
K.
so you are there under the K, where I put a little
Nice.
red marker.
And then was southeast from there. Not straight southeast, I guess, but southeast can be anyway. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
And somewhere.
I guess we will go that way.
Should we aim to go below the W? Or should we aim to go all the way kind of in height of Ishao?
What's Issa?
I will
It's in
go
the
up.
refugee bay.
Yeah, we're.
Are you just gonna travel straight across? How are you gonna get there?
By boat?
We could walk around. But if we don't want to be in the wastes,
I mean, we have no idea how it affects us, do we?
yeah, that's why my best to be in there as little as possible.
Even with a boat, it might be a tough sail through.
So, if it is to the southeast, the shortest way would be the east way around, I guess.
Yeah.
So, if we follow the waste eastward.
Yeah,
Eastward.
it's a good idea to keep us closer
So
to
that would be
the.
like walking. Oh, let me just ping it like this way around, trying to get there. Instead
Yeah,
of
closer to
modeling.
the coastline.
Yeah, obviously, but this was just marking it out, yeah, because I don't have any tools to make lines and all that kind
So
of
you
stuff.
want to go around the shoreline, but head north and then go east and come south.
Yes, but that was what I meant with eastward. So yeah, east southward, yeah, rather than going the other way around. Yeah,
So you want to go around the top way rather than going around the bottom way.
yeah. I don't know. Is that the shortest? What do people think? I mean, if it is southeast, we would probably better see it from the eastern side of the. That's my theory, anyway.
It depends on if it's just at the very bottom of this place, it will just be the quickest way to get down to the bottom of the lake or the swamp, because that would be still southeast of Kir Sabal.
True.
It's like south southeast. And if we would want to go to below the W, that would be kind of southeast.
I think it works as Dustin says. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Let's go around the sword lane, that direction.
Okay, so the route around the swamp to the north goes. You can't really see that, can you?
Nope, it's grey.
Let's make it red and see if this works. So the waste actually goes north up past the IR through the S and down.
Oh, like that. Sorry, yeah.
So it skirts the trees, the whole tree line.
Then maybe it is better to go the other way. I don't know.
Directly to the W, then go down as planned.
Oh yeah, maybe that's right. Yeah. So cross over at the to the W and then down. Yeah.
So alternatively, yeah, you could just come across.
How does the swamp look in front of us? Does it look like it has a lot of walking area, or would you have to wade through the water? Or is it open enough to actually have the canoe?
Standing on the edge of the wastes, you can see that the land ahead is a thick bog. The jungle flora and grasslands have thinned out to give way to hunched, vine-covered, rotten trees, thorny shrubs, and dark, spiny bushes. No longer the lush green bushes and palms of the jungle. The ground is damp and dark, covered in slime in some places. The normal jungle canopy itself has been replaced by a thick greenish haze. Some sort of greenish gas that looks like it's thick enough to swim through in some places, and it rests 15 feet above the ground, stretching upwards into the sky. Below it, this late in the day, a thin fog stretches out ahead of you between the land surface and the haze above. The smell of swamp, rotting plants, trees and animals, mixed in with the dampness and the smell of rotting eggs, assaults your senses. The cacophonous sound of the jungle life that you can normally hear seems to have died off as you neared the edge of the waste. You cast your eyes over the bog and you can see small bits of dry land poking through the swamp. In places there appear to be small islands in a sea of green muck. In other places, the small land masses are just wide enough to form a path through the blight. And then, As you're making out dry bits of land, you spot a large, expanding bubble forming in the swamp, maybe 100 feet ahead of you, just at the edge of your vision in this fog. The surface of the swamp begins to quiver, and the water ripples as a small, one-fist-sized bubble rises, halfway from the depths below, a perfectly formed dome that begins to grow. I need everyone to make a perception check, please.
Ooh.
Nice. Okay. So far, I need Yelena and someone to roll for Ponty, please. And Azaka.
I can roll for Ponty.
I'll roll for Azaka.
Oh, Ponty a 2.
Ponty don't see anything.
Okay. So, whoever gets below 12, you notice the bubble continues to grow and then it bursts, sending a plume of air upwards into the mist and spreading outwards about 10 feet around the exploding area. Those who got above 12, you watch as the bubble grows 2 feet high, then 3 feet, and just as wide, and it continues to grow until the bubble is about 5 feet across and 5 feet high. The liquid begins to thin as it grows, and as you stare at it, captivated, bah! It bursts. A plume of greenish air fires upwards directly into the haze above, causing a small explosion outwards through the haze. What doesn't burst through the haze seems to expand outwards around the spot where the bubble burst, in about a 10-foot cube. While you cannot smell it at this distance, you're certain that the air is putrid there, and your assumptions prove correct as you notice the already dying plants and trees seem to wither and shrink some more as the putrid air engulfs them. Aish, are we meant to walk through this?
No, second thought, perhaps we just go around.
We can take the canoe, I suppose.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
I think it'll carry us through.
Don't forget
Might be
your...
quite uneven there.
Maybe.
If we walk into this, it might be smart making use of that potion we got.
The poison resistance one, you may.
Potentially, yeah.
It might be useful.
It looks pretty poisonous in here, but who knows?
So
Don't forget to put on insect repellent, everyone.
Good idea.
Yeah, I say and look at Yarlena with a smile.
Alright, so everyone's going to put on some insect repellent.
I can hand out some too, of course.
Yes, and if anybody does not have...
Okay.
Yeah, I need some.
So this particular salve wasn't the same as the one that Valrus has just posted. This only lasts for 8 hours, as Vargo posted.
Oh yeah, okay. Is there a custom one we have to look for, or?
No, it does the exact same as the normal insect repellent, but this is made by
Okay.
Aarakocra.
Yeah, and when you get an insect repellent, it has 20 charges, but this one was only 10, so I have also
Correct.
adjusted for that. Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, so this needs to be applied while you're out and about 3 times a day. Basically, depending on how long you're walking. Otherwise, if you're in your tent, then you use the incense.
Good thing I bought 2. Then.
Yeah. So, how are you traveling? Hastily, carefully, trying to avoid everything, stealthily? Some parts of the swamp are just watery muck, so you will need to travel by canoe if you don't want to swim, whereas other parts will be skipping across dry bits of land. Alternatively, of course, you could always just do the whole thing by canoe and just navigate your way through the watery parts. Some of it might be a little mix of both. But the question is, are you going to just push on through quickly or try and go carefully?
Carefully?
I vote quickly.
Oh.
Let's vote. Let's vote. Who wants that?
We are still on the time pressure, and the more we waste time.
That's true. Okay, quickly.
It is.
Quickly on both.
And let me just remind everybody that we have to find a solution. That we were told how to find a way to get rid of him. I think teacher chose those words kind of appropriately.
Yes.
So
That's true.
let's not try to just get in and murder someone we don't know what is. If this creature is 500 years old, as Nefer suggests, it's unlikely we can just storm in and just stab it in through the heart and then get out of there again.
You're strong, but yeah, I see your point.
Okay, so we're traveling quite quickly. Did you say you're going to canoe across to the below the W to the shore on the other side and then skirt around the edges?
Yes.
That sounds
the
like a
plan,
good idea.
yeah.
Plus, if we are going by canoe, I can send Arky ahead and watch through his eyes.
Okay. How is Arky flying?
With wings?
Sorry, I
Sorry.
describe. How far ahead of you is he going to go? How high up is he going to go?
I will say about 30 or 40 feet ahead of us, and a good 50 feet above.
Okay.
Not far enough that we don't see him, but enough to give us a perspective.
Okay, so visibility is no more than 100 feet ahead of you. But Arky takes off and shoots off ahead, and then he starts to rise, and as he does, he flies up into the haze above. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw for him, please.
Oh boy. -1. So, how did that go? Yeah, 4.
Arky flies up, and immediately, as you are connected to him, all of a sudden you feel something's not right. Are you looking through his eyes?
I'm looking through his eyes. Yeah.
As he flies up into the haze, it takes maybe 5 or 6 seconds before all of a sudden his vision starts to blinker and cover. The wings slowly start to stop beating, and you can see that the eyes, Arky's pupils, all of a sudden a thin film of almost like plastic tar covers his eyes, and as he starts to panic and look around, you can almost feel his mind start to hallucinate as the poison takes grip, and as soon as it does, his wings just stick out in place. He's unable to move as the tar covers him so completely that he turns into almost like a statue and just falls 100 feet ahead of you straight into the swamp.
Oh boy, do I have time to react?
You do have time to react, yes. Bear with me 1 second. Arky also failed, so he takes 3d6 points of poison damage as he freezes up and falls.
Yeah, Ark is gone, guys. Bye.
Did you just send your bird to die?
Don't worry, I can call him back. He's just gonna be a little bit angry after that.
I don't blame him.
What happened to it?
But why? You know that Aarakocra fall out of the sky. Why would you send the bird as well?
Because he's not a bird, he's a fey creature.
He still has wings. You know, just because he's fey doesn't mean that you can treat him however you want.
You know what? You're
They
right.
have feelings too.
Yeah.
I want to talk.
What do you mean?
I call up to Lunan and really, really loud, I ask, "Do you think they like each other?"
I just give him a look.
You think I want to like demon boy?
Sorry, that was really low. Not intended for you to hear.
She's an elf, and you're right next to her.
Mm-mm.
You
All
were
right,
still
all right.
panty when we met.
Oh my! Oh dear! I seem to have changed my opinion. You know.
So has she, apparently.
I blame the
No.
colour. I blame the summer colour.
Just a bit more passionate now.
I can't deal with any of you. Especially you, Mr. I'm going to touch a tree, I shouldn't.
Oh, you high and mighty with your sword that you refuse to let go of.
What?
They-
It's
they-
my sword. I like it.
Uh-huh.
You
Sure
got a
do.
problem? Do you even use swords? No, you shoot fireballs.
The fact that you say fireballs, even though they're bolts, I feel like part of me wants to correct it, and yet doesn't know the difference either.
Well, this is gonna sigh and just mouth out. Yes, fireballs.
Oh
course.
goodness gracious!
Yeah.
I wish I could shoot fireballs too.
Great balls of fire.
Oh, that is where I was going too. Oh, capital. As you set off across the wastes in the canoe, carefully making your way through, avoiding the swamp and all of the bits of land as best as you can, while still paddling. The heat blazes down. The fog slowly begins to thin, and you can quite easily make out the gust bubbles when they begin to rise to the surface and burst. At least give you enough time to speed up so that you avoid them. It's quiet here, except for the sound of bubbles bursting near you, small stinging insects buzzing around your ears, and the odd caw of a bird as it falls from the sky into the gloopy swamp. The stinging insects don't seem to have any effect on you as you continue in the canoe. It doesn't take long before your clothes get dirty, tinged with green spots and tar from the haze above you. And then, maybe 50 feet from the edge of the wastes as you're departing, you come across the first signs of what Nefer was talking about. Scattered about bits of dry land, you catch a glimpse of some skeletons. Maybe 8 of them, all in a line, that seem to be headed towards where you've just come from. Their wings stretched out and their bodies curled up as if they were statues in flight that fell asleep and then died in the spot that they were in. You slowly paddle closer towards them. Half the skeletons are covered in the swamp. Legs and bones of arms are sticking out. Some deep in the water, just the tips. Others on bits of dry land as you carry on moving past.
But I would like to take a look at the skeletons as we pass by.
Okay.
Maybe searching for signs, or if they appear as skeletons or something else undead.
Roll a perception check for me.
Sure. 18.
So they don't appear as undead, but what you do notice immediately is that all of them appear to have either broken arms or legs that seem to have broke when they hit the ground. All of the bones as you pass by appear to be perfectly preserved, so it's near impossible to tell how old any of them are. But all of the flesh and clothing that normally has got Aarakocra on them has been cleaned or dissolved off the bones entirely. as you're paddling through further back, you see more of them, as if a troop of Aarakocra flew into the haze, collapsed, and tried to walk back out, succumbing to the poison of the swamp and dying, curling up in pain as they died, with their wings stretched out and stuck in formation. You notice there's no equipment on any of them, but from where you sit in the canoe, you can see a couple of coins lying about near some of the skeletons. A bit of gold and silver scattered in the muck.
Alright. I will not take them,
Mm-hmm.
but I will point it to the group in case anyone wants.
Dusted! Shiny!
He might be stupid, but not that stupid.
Does anyone else care to climb out the canoe and attempt to grab the coins?
It would have been handy with a familiar now.
Shut up! I'm still mourning him.
I'm
the
so
brief time
sorry
that
I
he's
sent you
gone.
to die.
Oh dear. Well, at least
Do you
you know
want-
you shouldn't fly up.
Yep, it's a valuable lesson. Oh
Why
boy.
don't you get the coins, Valrus?
I'm not interested in your earthly treasures.
What do you mean my earthly treasures? They're yours too.
I can handle myself without riches.
Only trees. Only trees. Thank you.
You need money as much as the rest of us. You are so desperate to touch the tree and now you won't get out on the boat?
If only we had a magical way to reach them without touching.
If only.
You know, I was quite happy in my silence.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Don't worry, old chap. Her bark is worse than her bite.
You
What
say
do you
that,
mean,
Ponty.
Ponty?
You say that, Ponty, but
'Cause, you know, a tree has bark.
okay, are we voting Ponty out of the canoe now or later?
I was about to say that nobody will know, only us. Oh, and Osaka.
I like his jokes.
So you do still like something.
I like people that aren't stupid.
I see.
Shit, there goes my chances.
You know, Yarlena, I think that you're digging your own grave here. The day you do something stupid, Paris will keep reminding you all forever.
The whole campaign.
I the sword that she so willingly picked up.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to swallow a tough. It's mine.
Not interested.
Then
Look,
stop
stall.
staring.
As you continue paddling, the sky begins to grow orange. The sun slowly begins to set when you, Lunan, are the first to notice something in the distance that looks like an abandoned campsite. About 100 feet ahead, nearing the edge of your vision and covered in vines, you can see what looks like the remains of 2 tents, broken with their cloth missing, but still standing. The poles sticking up out of the ground. As you all paddle a little bit closer, you spot 4 large, vine-covered mounds neatly arranged around a small circuit of stones that looks like it could have been an old campfire. The ground is covered in muck and some vines, but the distinct shape of skeletons lying on the ground confirms that this place is indeed uninhabited. Oh, I do say this might be a good place to rest for the night. What you say, chaps?
It may be. Yes.
It is
Rest would be nice.
What?
Nothing, I think. We spend the night here and continue the next day, I suppose.
Everyone in agreement?
Yes.
Yeah.
Luna
Yes.
will take a look around when we arrive at the campsite to just make sure it seems safe, but otherwise he agrees, yeah.
Okay. Roll a
Yes.
perception check for me, Lunan, or investigation.
Reception it is.
Oh, cool. Looking around, you can't see any immediate danger. The ground itself is quite solid. It seems big enough to at least pitch one of your large tents. If all of you were to potentially crowd into it with the incense going, your perception check would lead you to believe that you would have a reasonably comfortable night.
Also have mosquito nets that we might be able to
Mm-hmm.
put up.
So,
Yeah.
you're going to set up camp?
Yep.
Yes.
Let's.
Yarlena, would you help me set an alarm around the camp? We can cover more area between us two.
I can.
Do you have that prepared for tonight?
I do.
Nice.
Excellent. Does everybody have rations and water?
Yes.
Should do, yes.
I have a lot of rations if people don't have some.
I have 20 I can hand out, I think. Maybe more.
Wow.
Yeah, I think
I have
I have 26.
I
Wow.
have 6.
All right. Well, everyone will need rations because, Azaka has not had a chance to
There's not
forage
much
for anything.
here.
And there's not much here, exactly.
I can handle mine for now.
Right.
Five
I'll
left.
just drop 5 of mine, or you can drop 5 of yours, Delena, if you need the carrying space.
What about Ponti and Azaka?
Oh shit, yeah.
Did they have food?
They need as well. So
I'll give some. I'll give like 3 to Ponty and 3 to Zaka. Because then they at least have enough for a few days.
yeah, and then 5 for the rest of us, yeah.
Because I'll have 10 for myself as well.
Yeah, but we we should have had this on one person, so it's easier to distribute.
And what about
It's-
the watch order? Are you doing Lunan first, Yelena second?
May suggest that Boris spends the whole night resting for good measure.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have my potion as well, I think.
So you need 24
Um,
hours to wait, Valorous, for your potion, so you'll only be able to take it in the morning.
Ah, okay.
Because you had it the night before, around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
If you drink it, I'll tell you, if you drink it now without waiting for the 24-hour period, it won't work.
Okay.
So down it when you wake up and make a concentration save for me. And if you get a full night's rest, then you'll be back without exhaustion. Savvy?
Alright.
Okay. Are you guys setting a watch?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, and also both Jarlena and I setting an alarm spell.
Okay. So, who's on the first watch?
Did you want to sleep first this time, or rest first this time around your level?
No, I don't mind. I can stay up.
Okay. Then Yarlena first, and then me second.
Okay.
And I can jump in for the last one.
For the last couple of hours, just in case.
Yeah.
Alright, so. Night passes very slowly. The only thing that keeps you awake is the incessant buzzing of mosquitoes and bugs. But there is no sound at all in the swamp from the jungles. The sound that you're used to doesn't seem to lull you asleep at all. It's almost eerily quiet out here. Except for the popping and bursting of these poison bubbles all around you. The next morning, you wake to a grey sky, and the sound of thunder rumbles above you. Let me get the thunder. Rain is imminent. As you start beginning to pack everything up, the tents, the nets, the rain begins to pour down, slowly at first, and then faster in big, heavy drops. It hits the ground in great big splashes, and the swamp in small bursts, and as it does, the haze above begins to thin out, only to suddenly start growing near your feet as the rain gathers. The haze begins to deposit it on the surface of the ground in the swamp. Within minutes, the haze is knee-height all around you and only growing in height. The haze,
We need to find higher ground before this reaches our faces, probably.
the haze
Or
starts
the-
growing and gets to waist height.
Do- Quick perception check to find higher ground.
Roll. Rolling.
While he's looking, Eleanor's gonna quickly fold up the boat if it isn't already folded up.
Unfold the boat.
Fold it up.
You folded the boat up last night.
Oh, okay, that's fine then.
I assume when you
19.
set up tent, you pack the boat away.
Yeah.
Dusted, looking around, you do not see any so-called higher ground. There are bits of land that are a little bit higher, but not higher than your knee height.
Damn.
The haze grows past your faces as fog limits visibility to 10 feet around you. And as you breathe in the air, I need you all to roll a Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh boy.
Dusted is fine.
Alright.
Fargo is fine. Oh, your Lena busting out the 22. You're fine.
Did we get a complete long rest?
Yes. Lunan fails. I'm waiting for Valrus. Valrus, that just fails.
Ah, shame.
Okay. I need someone to roll for Ponty and someone to roll for Zaka, please.
I will take Ponty. 13 plus Constitution.
Okay, Ponty passes.
Oh god.
Oh dear. Okay.
For a second.
So, Lunan, Valrus, and Azaka. While it's raining and the haze sort of rises above your faces and starts to grow, all of a sudden everything around you starts to distort and you start to see double. Everything in view begins to have a greenish tinge to it as the haze engulfs you. You start to sway on your feet. As long as you're in the haze, you are now affected as if you've got 3 levels of exhaustion.
Oh, again.
But you have one less than yesterday, Barris.
Yep.
You drop to your knees as the dizzying effects start to force you down and you cannot stand any longer. Eventually, after 10 minutes, the rain stops. The haze ceases to grow around you and it begins to slowly dissipate as the vision returns and you can see past 10 feet and then 15 feet. Above you, you can see the haze slightly thinned out, and as the rain clouds disappear and the sun comes out and heats up the swamp, 20 minutes have gone by and the haze begins to thicken again above you. However, all of you who were hallucinating and had distortions, you all of a sudden start to feel yourself again in the clean air. It's taken about 20 minutes for you to come right again as you stand up and you look around. You don't know exactly the amount of time that has passed, but by the shadows you can tell it's still very early morning. The sun is a glowing hot ball shining through the haze, and the thick fog has now settled between the haze and the swamp, forcing visibility to 80 feet.
I should roll another constitution for the potion as well.
Yeah, you drink your potion, and you roll your constitution saving throw. DC 12?
There we go.
Alright. So, within the next hour, your final level of fatigue will disappear as you down your potion and you manage to stay awake. Feeling yourselves again, you hop in the canoe and you set off towards the edge of the other side of the wastes. The sun climbs higher into the sky and you realize that you've been paddling for hours. The fog hasn't let up that much and the visibility is still poor, and as soon as you reach the shore on the other side, Azaka calls for a quick break and a bite to eat and some water. The swamp smell grows stronger in the heat as you take a break at the edge of the swamp, looking out over the blight. And then you see movement in the haze ahead of you. About 100 meters at the edge of your vision. A large, dark shape moving towards you. At first, you can make out a gigantic dinosaur head about 15 feet high in the air, bobbing in and out of the haze. The ground shakes a little. Boom! As it moves closer. Boom! With each step. And then a neck comes into sight, emerging from the soupy haze. It is about 8 feet long neck that stretches out just below the haze and then disappears up into it again until eventually you see the 20-foot high body of a lone dinosaur struggling through the swampy gloop, headed directly towards you. The haze parting either side of it like a boat through water. Each step of this gargantuan beast shakes the very ground as it comes closer, oblivious to the presence of your party. Out of the corner of your eye, you notice Ponty's pulled out his book. He's quickly flicking through the pages. Yes, oh, I do believe I know. It's a Brontosaurus. The beast is now 300 feet from you. Sounds like it is wailing are emanating from its head as the head swishes around in the air from side to side, trying to look around, and you can notice its eyes are covered in thick tar. I need everyone to roll initiative, please.
Oh boy.
Alright.
And you
Oh my god, it's enormous.
You did get my roll? Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, of course. Let's see.
What map do we have at the moment?
You are now on a map of the wastes. Oh, that's weird.
I will try to reload again, or will that screw up the order?
No, what did you get, an 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be fine. What is going crazy? Let's just do this stat. Oh no, that's not gonna work. Let's do that stat. Oh dear. My Brontosaurus is not loading. There we go.
Oh.
Where's Ponty? Okay. There we go. Thank you. Right, there's Ponty and there is Azaka. Okay. Oh, poor Aki, not on the map anymore. Right. In which case, then, it is Yolena who is up first.
Oh boy. I didn't expect it to be me. Yeah. She's gonna use Bless on herself, Dusted, and Fargo?
Okay.
Alright.
Yeah. And then she will just walk. Yeah, she'll just walk up there.
Is it only me that shows Valrus as half health?
No, he is.
Valrus is not well.
Not
My
on my
screen here.
sheet.
That's what I'm just.
Oh, maybe the token hasn't updated then.
Okay, so it's token. Okay, good. I'm
Probably.
just worrying here.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay. So,
That's my turn.
okay. Next up then is Dustin Cole.
Yeah, and I am about 120 feet from this thing, so I'm gonna take a shot with the longbow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, never mind that.
Alright, so, putting arrow to bow, you draw and you take aim and you fire at the bow. In your haste, the arrow just flies straight into the swamp in front of you. Splosh! Going nowhere, nothing happens. Next up then is Pontus.
Just a second. I'll just move and sheath my longbow.
Okay. And Ponty is busy paging through, and it's like, guys, I do say, this beast is a herbivore. I don't think he's going to eat us. Maybe we should just let him pass. And that is his turn.
Huh?
Azaka looks at Ponty and she's like, he is right. The Brontosaurus, it also looks like it is blinded. Maybe we can hide. And she is going to move to this island over here and crouch down and wait. Brontosaurus. Okay. The monster gets a speed of only 30 foot. However, it is currently blinded, so let's roll a d6 and find out. It indeed does move forward, and it is going to move to there. And the Brontosaurus slowly moves forward, and you can see it is busy shaking its head. You notice its eyelids are covered in the green hazy tar. It cannot see anything, as it's slowly plodding along, trying to head out of the haze. That is its turn. Next up is Vargo.
I quickly consult to the party. What do you want to do, guys?
I say we hide, as Ponty and Azaka suggested. No need to waste our energy on this.
I will use my action to... No, yeah. I will go there and hide as well.
Then next up is Valrus.
I will go behind the bush and hide there.
Okay. Lunan.
Let's not harm him. Maybe we can help him. I don't see the battle map. How far away is it from Lunan?
He
80 feet.
is, yeah, 70 feet, but he needs to turn to his right to come at you. If he continues going straight, he'll miss you completely.
I think Lunan will actually move up closer, the full 35 feet, if there's no swamp water in between.
Yeah, there is. You're currently
But
standing.
so you're not.
You're currently in swamp water technically, or you would have been on the edge of the swamp over there. In which case, there's swamp water in front of you.
Okay, Luna will just stay where he is in that case.
On the edge of the shoreline.
Yeah.
Alright, let's put you there then, next to Ponty, actually. Alright. Yelena, top of the next round.
She'll follow everybody else's thing. She'll look a little bit put out as she kind of ducks behind the fallen tree, and she'll hide.
Mm-hmm.
Or attempt to hide.
Alright, then roll a stealth check for me, please. Oh, she's already got it out. Look at that. With a 10. Okay, you duck down in the swamp as your boots sink deeper into the muddy ground below and the grime seems to find its way up. But you duck down behind nonetheless, and that is your turn.
Yeah, that's it.
Dusted, your turn.
Well, Dusted is a little sort of like, but he's not equipped any weapons afterwards, so he just goes with what everyone is saying, that to leave it alone. So he's gonna get to dry land first, at least, just take a slow, sneaky step forward, 2 spaces, and then he's gonna try to crouch down or drop down and hide.
Okay. Roll a stealth check for me.
That would be 25.
Oh, goodness me. Alright. No problem there then. Then next up is Ponty, and Ponty is going to start running to the side away from the path of the Brontosaurus. Where's Azaka? And Azaka is going to do the same. She's going to run to hide behind the tree where the body of Aki is. Okay. The Brontosaurus starts moving. He goes directly behind him again as he's wandering around through the swamp. Vargo, next up is you.
Again, to the party. Should we go? I mean, no much sense in standing here, I suppose.
It's a little big, but I mean, we are moving past it, aren't we? We have to get past it.
You have just come from where it was. You've come down to reach the swamp's edge. Your canoe has made it all its way through the little swampy area here, and it seems to be coming from the same direction as you.
Oh, so it's basically just following us through this area.
Yeah, basically, but not following you, if you get my meaning. Just so
Yeah,
happens
it's just wandering around here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can help it. Maybe we can tame it.
Well, it's a little big for me to climb up on its neck and try to tame it, but
I could try and clean off the gunk on its eyes if I get 10 feet close.
I can help it as well if I can touch it.
Alright. Sounds like a plan. Whatever you guys do it with Bless. And I cast Bless on Luna, Barrios, and yeah, Ponti.
Okay, so what are you going to try and do?
Then I guess I would like to get like up to 10 feet of it and try and use prestidigitation to maybe clean off
Oh,
the things on its eyes.
well, that's okay. Wow, that's very clever. You can have some inspiration for that. Damn. Okay, so you're gonna try and get 10 feet up. Let's see. Quickly. Oops. Let's just have a look-see over here. So, tracking the path 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Brontosaurus is actually, funnily enough, just moving in a straight line all the way down this way over the next 3 rounds. So, Valrus, it was you, Ponty, and...
Lunan, I believe.
I wanted to help, and if I see that he has problems, I will try to do my thing, which is a bit more expensive.
Mm-hmm. Which was... what exactly?
I would cost lesser restoration, which
Wow.
removes a condition affecting a creature.
Yes.
That condition can be blinded.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you need to touch the creature?
Yes.
Okay, so as the 3 of you move closer onto the little island just over here, the Brontosaurus passes roughly within 10 feet. Valrus, then your prestidigitation, is it automatic? Or do you need to...
That will... it's just a cantrip.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
but if it's
it
an
is.
unwilling creature, doesn't something?
I think the next day will...
Let's have a quick look, see. Prestidigitation is a minor trick.
It does say, you can clean or soil an object no larger than 1 cubic foot. But
So you would need to cast it twice to get each eye, basically.
okay.
Because he's moving, and it's a cubic foot, he moves at 30 feet around. I'm gonna need you to, let's say, a skill check on either like a dex reaction check to make sure that you get the timing right as he moves into that cubic foot and he's moving. I'll give you advantage on the roll as well.
Alright.
And you've got bless.
I do have bless.
So
and inspiration.
And inspiration if you need it. So for role-playing purposes, you know, let's see. Let's get the dice gods to judge if this works.
Alright.
Oh, easy. Okay. I mean, it wasn't that difficult. I was going to set you like an 8.
Fair enough.
So as it goes past, you're running up, dodging the swamp, dodging the muck, and just timing it as the Brontosaurus gets in there. You aim for the cubic foot as it passes through, casting your prestidigitation, and within an instant, one of his eyes, the muck tends to clear, and the Brontosaurus stops as he does, looking around, eyes down on you. And he stops almost and looks up, and you can see it turns its head to the other side, waiting, almost nervously waiting for you to see if you'll be able to clean the other one too.
Alright, I repeat what I did to the other eye.
Alright, in which case you don't need to roll, he seems like a willing subject. As you prestidigitation the other eye, Ponty stands there, gasping. Wow, the Brontosaurus Whisperer!
And I will slowly back away.
And as the Brontosaurus turns around and looks, it can see 50 feet ahead of it the shoreline where you guys were camping out, and it dips its head slightly lower as it moves slowly, carefully, vibrating swamp water around its legs as it moves towards the edge of the swamp. You see this great big beast, and when he gets to the edge, he turns to you and lets out a little rumble as if to say thank you, and then passes off out of the swamp onto dry land. The
Hold on there, guys.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that went smoothly.
Oh dear, well, that
we
was
didn't
easier than
have to
touching
kill
a
it.
tree, wasn't it?
Surprisingly enough.
And better for our health.
And Vargo has a check for concentration. What was that for?
Oh no, I just checked that I used less for today.
Ah, okay, cool. Right. Well, that combat was easily resolved. GG, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I must feel strange not killing something.
Looking at Yarlena's sword.
Thank God that first arrow missed.
Yeah, I am a little sheepish over here on Dusted. Yeah.
So we're gonna end the session here tonight then.
Alright.
I think that was quite a successful introduction into the Blight. It is still early morning, and you've managed to avoid being trampled by a Brontosaurus.
We got several hours to do so.
Yeah. You still got a couple more. Oh, why did I do that?
I really like the fact that Valerius have been walking around being able to clean Dusted, while Dusted is complaining about all the dirt in his fur.
That's a very
I don't know how
Lunan, where do you want to sit in the boat next? Because I'm just saying, if you sit too close to me, that something might happen. Because I was ready to rip off my sleeves on this fine cloth to make makeshift mast for you, Valrus, and Saka before it raised the haze vanished very quickly. I'll have to reconsider that now.
Oh dear.
I have lavender oil, remember?
Perfumed kitty. Nice. Yeah,
I just figured they would prefer to clean themselves rather than have someone do it for them.
How right you are.
Yep.
But not in this river, that's for sure.
Do you know how much damage a Brontosaurus does if it stomps on you?
I'm guessing
Probably 48 or something.
many tens.
5d8 plus 5.
Oh my god, that was...
That's
Alright.
45 damage.
Just one dead Dusted, you can just imagine it. And it's gone.
Instant.
And he's got a
Yeah,
120
I just-
points.
Jesus.
Thank god that arrow failed.
I was. Good thing you rolled a natural 1, because... Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was blinded and going randomly, but it's dangerous. Yeah.
He was...
Wait, it's blinded, so I should have rolled with advantage. No, just kidding.
Well, it's natural armor that he gets, so... He doesn't have a dex check on it. But you still rolled a 1.
Oh boy.
I know.
Guys, my girlfriend is calling, so I think I have to go.
Oh,
But I had a really nice session, and thank you for the session as always.
Stay safe.
We're on for next weekend. Next week, don't forget, yeah?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, bye guys.
Have a good
Bye.
week, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guys.
Really nice. Thank you.
That is
Yeah.
all right. Good
Yeah.
job all round. Lunan and Axel, you still don't get to see the map, do you?
It's really fickle. It usually works the first time, first loading, and then whenever you try to load this freaking map,
Mm-hmm.
it breaks it, and then it usually don't start working again.
Okay.
If you load the big map, because
So,
it was working while we were in the city.
right. I mean, the alternative is that you could always just hop onto like the Twitch stream and you can have a look and see on there.
Sure, but I wouldn't be able to control my.
No.
But I don't think you have sent a link to that, or did you?
I have not.
Could I just ask quickly, what is the name of Aries' husband, the merchant's husband?
It was so Eru was the wife, and the husband was Iska, and then the artificer
Was Quiff. That I got.
Quiff. Yeah.
It was only because you only said the name twice, Iska. So I was like, okay. But the rest I got for the session.
Oh yeah, Quiff was quite full of himself. Quiff referred to himself in the third person.
Exactly. So that's what it makes it easy. And when you flattered him, he also responded to it. So yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed Quiff. Quiff was actually quite cool.
Quiff is fun. Yeah, definitely.
Are you talking as Quiff now?
Exactly. Yeah, you see?
Stefan thinks that Quiff is great.
Quiff thinks that the DM is good too.
Yeah.
Quiff is cool. Ooh, what's that quiff in the air? No? That's not funny, is it? I have to explain it.
Jesus. Like dissecting a frog, the joke died.
Yeah, exactly. Rachel cackled out loud, didn't you, Rachel, when Ponty cracked his joke, though?
It was pretty fun.
You broke out a character, you were laughing so much. I thought that was brilliant.
It was a good joke.
It was a good joke. Underrated.
Thank you. It was, wasn't it?
No
Yeah.
comment.
Do you like my battle map, though? That's what I spent my
Yeah, I
time
wonder
doing.
how many skeletons and Yuan T you can fit on it. Since it's so fucking huge.
It's 40 by 40 squares, so 200 by 200, so, you know, there you go.
Ugh, Jesus.
Oh boy.
I think
Pretty big
that's
map.
why my thing is crashing. I don't think my computer has enough RAM for your images.
It doesn't like the huge images.
Oh no. Well, that's not
I'm
good.
sitting here on a measly laptop.
Oh, what? It sounds like I'm gonna have to send the maps into the chat, upload them to Discord.
Yeah. Else I'll have to find out a shared screen solution.
Because I see tokens, but I don't see anything now. Like now it finally loaded the tokens. It took some time.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Oh, okay. Are you allowed to go into the petrol station and use their Wi-Fi?
Well,
I'm just taking the mickey. You know, over here we say that you're using Tesco's Wi-Fi. Or if you're
okay.
sitting in
Yeah, no.
McDonald's, we're streaming.
No,
from
my
McDonald's.
my Wi-Fi is not the problem. I can
No,
without
because
problems
we hear you clearly,
in
yeah.
high
Even though
definition from like from like Netflix and those sort of things. So I don't think it's the internet that's the problem.
Is it Google Chrome you're using?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I tried Firefox as well, and it didn't make a big difference.
Oh, shame.
But I can try that again next time. Like usually it works and then it stops working. That's the thing. I usually have it working for a while and then it stops. And then sometimes I'm lucky and it reloads when I reload the thing, but not today.
So let's see if I.
And the message I'm getting is like something about sharing on Drive, but I have no idea what they mean.
You get the on. Have you updated to the latest?
Yeah,
So you're on the right VTT.
I have the same number as you wrote, so the message I'm getting is this.
I think maybe try uninstalling your VTT and reinstalling it.
No.
Yeah, I will try that before next time.
We had that like 2 weeks ago, didn't we, or 3 weeks ago?
But I've had this problem for the last
You're losing it. If you
for the last like
it's sure shame, isn't it?
I think this problem started just in December for me, if not before.
Yeah.
But it was not working on this computer at all for a while. So I started working with a job computer, and then there was an update. It started working, and now it's not. So maybe I need to use my work computer again. But I don't want to use that.
Yeah, works for work though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder if there's options under the extensions. There are options. This site can read and change. If you go into the extension and click down, and then go, this can read and change site data.
Behörighet.
And then mine says on dndbeyond.com.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can change it to on all sites. No. There's an options, but I can't open the options. If I go into manage extension, if you got incognito or something on.
No. But I'm considering if I should activate that and see if it helps. Not saving the cookies. Maybe whenever I refresh, it actually refreshes then.
Yeah, go for it. Try it then.
But I think the first thing I will do is actually reinstall this. Just remove it and reinstall.
Yeah, see if
Yeah,
that
might
works.
work.
That worked for me
'Cause-
last time.
I just need to see there. Remove. First, I'm going to copy the name so I find it easy.
We're probably gonna head off because I feel really tired.
Likewise, don't give Yanis any problems about being a tree hugger, okay?
I won't. Don't worry.
I mean, it would be difficult if you had to carry all the grudges from Rachel being DM and Rachel being Yelena, and it would be really a lot to carry around with you at all times.
Can you imagine? Jeez, like. Hey?
It's enough in a game.
Yanis, do you win any arguments ever?
Well, I wouldn't say her repeating the same thing over and over again is winning an argument.
It is winning.
It's just shutting you down and not giving you like any options.
Relationship goals. It's the same argument every time. Like you're saving. It's a time saver right there. Like everything is the same thing.
Don't worry, we don't charge. We can give relationship advice. We're old.
No, don't listen to me.
Oh,
Whatever you do, don't listen to me.
Hold on, I'll write that down.
Or if you want, on Critical Role, Sam's character, I'm busy watching last week's episode, and he's playing that Autobot that like starts giving relationship advice. It is so
Ah,
funny. Oh man.
Oh,
Yeah, I've got a
Jesus.
long way till I get to that point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm still on season 1, so.
I have 3 unwatched episodes.
Yeah, I'm 1.5 episodes behind of season 3.
It's quite good to have on long journeys. So
It's finding the time
Yeah,
to
it's-
watch them.
Still didn't load.
Still not.
I see the dinosaur token, but not the map.
Oh, my maps are great. Let me actually add, upload it. Where is
It
it?
seems
Yeah.
gigantic, though.
we'll see you guys next week.
Yep.
Have a good week.
You too.
And thank you for the session.
You're very welcome, guys. I look
Thank
forward
you.
to next week.
Yeah.
So, bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Did you allow it to be an incognito?
Not
I
yet.
Okay.
The image is only 1.65. I'm going to say goodbye to the people on Twitch and stop streaming.
That might be a good idea, yeah.